Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Hello?
Hello there.
Hello? Hey everybody, happy Monday. Hang on. I've just knocked my headphones for a second. Hang on. Jeez, I can hear nothing now. Say nothing now for a minute. Put that back in there, look. And this over here. Right now. Ah, Jesus. But how are we? Very happy Monday. Welcome to the start of the week. And this week, friends, it starts on a Monday. That's what happens. That's what happens. Hope you're all keeping well. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. I was busy, you know. Went out on Saturday. We went to Limerick. Did some shopping and stuff. And we went for a lovely walk. Yes. And then yesterday I was busy, you know, with stuff that I do. Stuff, you know. But all is well in the realm. You join us tonight, friends. We continue on with our FAA IFR AJH course. And tonight, friends, we're going to be looking at the STAR, the arrival, the standard terminal arrival. And we figured out how to get our clearance, you know, using craft. We've figured out our departures, your standard instrument departures, SIDs. We've also looked at the non-standard, where we're vectored out, you know, fly runway heading out that neck of the woods. We've already done some planning when it comes to our en route navigation, if we're flying with VOR or if we're going to be flying following some waypoints by GPS. Well, what do we do when we want to get back down out of the sky? Well, Jesus. You have to try and get back into, the airport, right? And this is all done for IFR. It's using standard instrument approaches. Some of them you might be kind of vectored in. This flight we're doing tonight, we're following the Boston Virtual ARTCC WINGS course, which is absolutely incredible. And for the IFR Lesson 5, this is probably the last time we're going to get vectors to final. And what we mean by that is our flight plan will bring us to a limit, right? We'll only go so far before ATC will start giving us headings, right? Head this direction, head that direction, change altitude. They'll do all that work for us. So when you're vector to final, it tends to be relatively easier. I mean, you just do what you're being told to do. All should be well in the realm. When it comes to the stars that are actually fixed to the full approach, where you're not getting vectors, that's when you have to understand the charts, know what some of the symbols mean, and know what some of the wording means of how it is we're going to follow it. You see, they're going bananas, they're pressing buttons, Janie. So that's what tonight is all about. Now, I've intentionally left out some of the flights following the WINGS course, and there's good reasons for that. One, well, I want you guys to give them a shot, but two, when there's a bit more time, I'll go back and I'll do them again, right? But so far, you know, we've fairly lashed through the VFR stuff, which is far more complex. There's actually a lot more work involved from our perspective when it comes to visual flight rules. We have to learn loads of stuff. When it comes to the IFR stuff, well, it is a little bit easier because it's quite linear. We follow routes, we follow waypoints. It's our flight plan. And any changes that are made to it, well, we can kind of figure out what's happening before we get there. So yes, the IFR stuff, a little bit easier, but then it becomes very complex. Our next flight, for example, is going to be the WINGS 11, the IFR 11. And that's going to see things like missed approach. It's going to see holes. There's going to be a lot of stuff in that. So we've quite a bit of prep to do over the next couple of days. Tonight, however, what we're going to do, we're going to take off from Albany Airport and we're going to be flying via VOR all the way into Boston. And we're going to be arriving into Boston on a standard arrival route. That's what we're going to be planning for this evening. It's going to be loads of fun. Yes, get your notebooks ready. You're going to need them, and write down frequencies and such. So we're back in the awesome TBM 850. This is our chariot for tonight. And we're on the ground here at Albany. We're already connected to VATSIM. And we're going to go through some of the theory and just make sure we're all comfortable with what we're doing, how we're doing it, and as if we're doing anything at all. Right. So it's going to be busy. Hope you're all keeping well. As I said, hope you had an awesome weekend. The weather today, well, friends, well, it rained for a while and then it stopped and it's quite warm. You're up into the 20s again, which is nice. But it also means that the man cave is starting to get fierce hot. Do you know, Jesus, lads, a hype train on a Monday night. Will you behave? And I'm even into shorts, look. Right. Brilliant. Yes, I live in shorts. For the last couple of months, I've had to live in, you know, trousers. That's a Scottish person to say trousers. But now we're back in shorts. Brilliant crack altogether. Do you know? Right. So what we'll do, batteries on charge from the headphones. The other batteries, these are deadly. These are the SteelSeries Nova Pro. They're a wireless headphone, but like they have they build the battery into the side. In there, look. Right. So it means you've one charging and one on the head. Nice watch. Brilliant. So yes, the Ultra. Look how friggin' Ultra that is. And I got myself a screen protector because I'd break iron and a new fancy strap look. Oh, Jesus. Amazon to the rescue. God almighty, there's buttons being pressed. Will you all calm it down now, lads? Jesus. We'll get into this now in a moment. You're very kind. I do have an AC unit in my cave of man, right? It's over here, look. But you know what the problem is? The thing overheats. It gets very hot, and I mean now, hot. So I don't know what I'm going to do. What do you mean it's a child strap? Shag off. Yeah, I don't know, because I have it ventilated out through my ventilator up there, look. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I could ring this fella from below in Tipperary to come in and install, lads. He'll install a proper air conditioning unit. But do you know what I mean? They're expensive. I do have a fan though. You know, right, you can't see it, but I can assure you it's... Wait, hang on, maybe you can see it. Where do I move that now? Oh, I'm moving to the other screen. Yeah, there's a fan there. Oh, look, hang on, I can show you. Wait now. Yeah, I can, look. Hang on a second. Hang on a second now. Right, there's the back of the head cam. Don't mind that for a minute now, lads. Right. Don't mind that now for a minute. Look. Get up there now, you devil, you. Oh, Jesus. Look at that fan. Don't pass any comment on my painting skills between the black and the white.
Jesus.
Not a word is to be said about the painting skills. There's one... Well, you can't see it from there. There's one terrible spot, which listen, you know. There's a close-up. Jesus, look at the head in it. And now we're back to, like, normal view. That's quite terrifying. Quite terrifying. But yes... See what we can do with lights. I'm after bashing me toe. Jesus. Oh, why do I put stuff there? Oh. Do you know what toe I bashed? It was a double whammy. Do you know your middle toe, right? Well, I'm after smashing the middle toe against my not so big toe. Oh. Anyway, friends, let's get over it. Who's here in the chat, look? CP65, happy Monday, hope all is well. Linny Bobbins, welcome aboard. Hope you're well. Vacuum is here. Silly Sav, welcome. APU Inspector's in the house. Naughty Gnome, good to see you, my guy. Ferocum Gamer, he says, hello all, hope everyone had a great weekend. No, a grand weekend, even better. Do you know, I'm after rolling off my carpet. We finished 1883. And now we've moved on to 1923, and we've just finished season 1. Oh, Jesus, lads, it's very good. It's an emotional roller coaster, you know. Harrison Ford and so... brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. But anyway, who else came in the door? Spitfire, RAF 100 is here in the chat. Happy Monday to you, my guy. You're looking well, isn't he? 98 Vulcan, greetings. All is well in the realm. Indeed it is. Liptorius, how are you? Viper Strike is here. He flew the NX Cub over Oregon. Are we going to Oregon? You're very welcome in. Sir Consulot, AJH man, hope all is well. Super Ty, sup? Commander Balosh is here watching for 10 streams in a row. A very good evening. Happy new week. Yes. Malky Mac is here, 3 streams in a row. Very good evening to you. Phantom Diablo, only 5 days until the weekend. You better believe it. Soaring AJ. AJH man. Soaring AJ, I'm just waiting on that code for Burning Blue. You won a gadget. See the way I hid the password? Brilliant. Well played, I'll cut off. Yeah, the Burning Blue design giveaway. You see, lads, if you do subscribe to the channel, be it on Twitch as a subscriber or YouTube as a member, make sure you link your Discord with either Twitch or YouTube. It gives you automatic access to our members only channel over on Discord. And we do giveaways there from time to time. But it's also like, well, if you need to kind of grab a hold of me, metaphorically speaking, that's where you do it. Or if you have any ideas, or in general you just want to have an old whinge or a moan, that's where we do it, in the members channel, do you know? So make sure that's all shorted for you, do you know? Mr. Dan is here. Look at this mad joke. With his 10 screens, 5 PCs, the Murph cave must be warm. It's roasting. Jesus, Mr. Dan, send reinforcements. Ian Fisher is here, good to see you. Silly Sav says he's actually on the hour. On the hour. Every hour. I'm late. But sir, listen, Blinky is here. Good to see you. Out here in the suburbs. Good evening. Out there in the suburbs. What's it like? Shuffle Shoes. Shuffles in. HH John. Happy Monday. Max Stallion is here. Good to see you. Cy Murray, welcome aboard. The Impossible Face. Merry Monday. Indeed. P.S. Mirandai. Oh, hello there. You're looking well. Velo is in the house. Retriever Neil, good to see you.
Jesus.
PS Miranda is subscribing for 24 months with Prime. Thank you very, very much indeed, my guy. Insane generosity. Did you see the insanity of the generosity? Idle Cutoff, Cambridge calling. Hello from Tipperary. You're looking well. Who else come in there now? Wicked Lumberjacks. A very happy Monday to all. This morning I took the last exam of my first year of law school, so I'm now settling in with a most tasty beverage. Congratulations, Wicked Lumberjacks! You're studying law. You could be fierce handy to have around the place. Right, I'm just saying now. What do we do here? We need a very strongly worded letter. Murphy has once again upset the internet. Right, Muse fan is here, bursts in the door holding a pencil. He says how he is his mad jokes is. Happy Monday. Good to see you, Muse. Stu Snape is here. Very welcome aboard. Cyrus T, 55 streams in a row. Thank you very, very much indeed, Cyrus. Iveco liveries, though, Cyrus. Iveco. Do you know what I'm saying? Shocking. The Impossible Face, Aberdeenshire calling. Hello from Tipperary. Me arms are sunburned from gardening and the school kids over the road are kicking the broadband cabinets, the wee divils. The divils. Set water on them. Corn Wolf is here, 25 months. Thank you very, very much indeed, Corn Wolf. Good to see you, man. Evening, Murph. I can't
Dreamy,
believe it.
sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
25 months. Wowzers. Indeed, indeed. Stick Figure, welcome aboard. Naughty Gnome has subscribed for 53 months. He says, ATC, yay. OMG, IFR, help. Good to see you, Naughty Gnome. Thank you so much indeed for 53 months. Lieutenant Bob, good to see you. Who else come in the door? Linny Bobbins, thank you for the bits. You're very kind. Schutz is here. Nighthawk, good afternoon. I'm here, but where are we today? We're on the ground in Albany, and we're going to be flying back into Boston, and we're on Vatsim. Creo, very good evening to you. Egged Barley, 50 months, man. 50 months. Thank you very, very much indeed.
Jesus.
That's all given at socks now, isn't it? Be the Janie. Very busy. Thank you very much indeed. Right, over here, look. We had a daft fog this morning, then all of the sun. Crazy, right? Cyrus T, 3 years at a tier 3. 33 and a third. Look at that, Cyrus. I take it all back. The Iveco's grand. Tier 3 for 3 years. Thank you very, very much indeed. Jesus. Things will never be the same again, Cyrus. 3 years ago, I'm sure you were happy. You know, happier. Right? And then, you know, you came across this Aegis. Now you question the very fabric of civilization, right? Thank you very, very much indeed, my guy. Filthy, welcome aboard. Eamon says, Murph, have I got AC? I do, but it doesn't work. Right, over here. Happy Monday to Crafty Tigers. Energizer is here. I just tune in. And why is Murph showing his bald spot to the public? Yeah, look at... oh, Jesus, it is bad, isn't it? You know... All joking, although from that, no, it's still bad. Yeah, well, listen, I that's intentional. Yes, I shaved my head bald in that spot up there, you know, just to, you know, I need to start wearing a hat. I think I'd look very good in a cowboy hat. I'm just saying, Kevin Costner needs to send me his hat from Yellowstone. I'll wear it and I'll look very important. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Right, where are we now? I'm not in the beta. Negative. Egged Barley is here. There goes the kitchen again. Wait, what? Sounds like Murphy needs AC for his AC. I could do with a bit of that, yes. Right, Bellbro is here. Happy Monday. Number two. Murph will tell you what you're doing it, when you're doing it, what time you're doing it at, and this if you're doing it in Natal. Brilliant, Muse. Thought you would have had a Cessna 172 prop as a fan. Sure, listen, I don't know what that one is, but it'll do, right? It'll do. JB Sign-Up's good to see you. It's my only fan. Did you paint your walls black? I did. Super Ty says, wobbling to the point where it might come down. No, I don't think so. It came down before on me. No, you know, I went to take it down. I went to dismantle it, and I turned it on to make sure, and it came down. But I caught it, you know. Oh, be grand. Right, over here now, look. You need a reverse cycle inverter unit. That'll fix it. That's what I did to my man cave. Previously computer unplayable in the summer. You need a reverse cycle converter. Or no, inverter. Hang on a second now, Vulcan. If I go into the local hardware store... Hello, I'm looking for a reverse cycle inverter. Are they going to take me out to the back and beat the head of me? You know, what are you talking about? Yes, I was told to get one of these. What do they look like? Hermit something, good afternoon. Nice day in Boston with a bit of a breeze coming into runway 22. Ooh, nice. Thank you very much, Hermit. Fierce Wolf is here, looking fierce and wolfy. Welcome aboard. Idle Cutoff, good man yourself. Right, Corn Wolf, members channel. Oh yes, the members channel on Discord. Zybok Doc is here, calling from Denmark. Hello from Tipperary, you're looking well. I thought we moaned in every channel. Wactical Tanker is here, good to see you. Who else come in the door now? Schutz is here, tier 1 for 5 months. Jesus. Thank you very, very much indeed, Schutz. You're looking well. Right, we're over here now, look at that, a level friggin' 2 hype train. Thank you very, very much, lads. You're very kind, very nice. Someone clip that. Clip what? Pilot Peely is here, tier 1, 47 months. Pilot Peely, thank you very, very much indeed. Hope you're well, mate. And I've been lurking in your streamage. Very chilled out, I love it, do you know? But I'm always up to something. But thank you very much indeed. Where's this now? Quick clip so he can't ban Ivecos. Past the point of no return. 777 is here, not feeling great, so lurking. Sorry, hope all is well. That's okay, 777. Feel better soon. In fact, the best way I find to make yourself feel instantly better is take a walk into your shower. Turn it on when it's cold. You'll have a very quick reaction now. Any sort of negativity even, will leave you at once because you will be rushed with the instant sensation of being frozen. It works, I'm telling you now. The wife would be something fierce mad upset at you because you've worn your clothes, into the shower. But apart from that, you'll instantly feel better. Yes, that's how it's done. Right, now, quick. The Impossible Face says, the last time I had my head shaved, my gran told me I had a funny shaped head. I would never shave my head willingly. Yeah. That's what happened to her. Wait, what? The head. Huh? Piku is here, good to see you. Moogloogle, welcome aboard. I'm in the shower with you now, Murph.
You're going a bit mad there.
Jesus, silly self, get out, will you? Right, hang on there now. A quick hello to everyone over on the YouTube. Uniform Goose is here. Good day, Goose. You're looking well. Dave Cleary, legend Dave. Welcome in, Dave. Siddle, happy Monday. Jet Kid is here. Freaking love you. Brilliant. Thanks very much. You're very kind. Sean Flynn. Hello, Sean. Hope all is well. Johnny Shoe is here. Vruden the Great. He says, what's all this then? I just stopped to drop a like. That's him. I'm going to have to revoke my like. I misshaved my head. I took off the guard to go around my ear and oh Jesus, really? Fruitin', you poor old divil you. It rained horses and cows this morning. Now at noon and the sun is out. I must be in California. Black Sheep Gene. Very welcome aboard, Gene. Hope you're well, man. Captain Spears is here. Welcome in. Todd Schroeder. Wait now, pronounce this, Murphy. We can do it. Is it Schroeder? Welcome in, Todd. Hello from Minnesota. Hello from Tipperary. Minnesota. You're very welcome in. Right, lads.
Can I get a refund?
No, shag off. There's no refunds. Right, what we're going to do here, friends, it's a bit of learning to do. Turn off that light and come to the screen. Oh, yes, here we are. All is well in the realm as we get ourselves set up and somewhat comfortable for what will happen next, you see. Bring that microphone. Jesus, now. Calm it all down. Where's this now? One Fly Air, welcome aboard. Old Veteran 965, welcome aboard. Heavy at Gate 21, standing by for IFR to Shannon with Alpha. Trucking in Austria today. Oh, nice. Icarus is here, welcome aboard. Downrange, welcome in. Good to see you, man. Right, we're on the ground at Albany. Have a listen to the wind. Not that sort of way. It's very windy, right? But anyway, we're going to have a quick look at what we're going to do on our flight this evening. I'm looking forward to this one. So come on over here and have buttons, look. And here we are. Right. Let us open up the internet. And if you ramble over to twotonemurphy.com, this is our website, and you click on Learn ATC Series. All right? You can see the windsock in the background. Oh, it's proper, yeah. Right, we're going to go into our FAA conversion course. Now, the other ones, the IFR and also the VOR courses, these are from 2023 and 2024, and they'll hold your hand on learning all the procedures on how to fly using either visual flight rules or instrument flight rules, primarily in Europe. It's following the ICAO way, right? What we're doing here, though, is following the Federal Aviation Authority's way of flying. Right, so the FAA. So we're going to go in and check out our ground school document because tonight, friends, we need to focus on stars. And I don't mean those shiny things in the sky. Not at all. Let's have a ramble down here. We shall see now, if we go to page 286, That's right. We're going to focus... we're going to do an introduction to the standard terminal arrival route, specifically flying a structured descent and an arrival procedure into a major airport, right? Active in real life, aka you're at the wrong end of the airport. Oh, balls, am I? We'll have a look at that. We'll have a look. So what we're going to do, we're going to file and accepting stars as part of our IFR plan. We're going to be flying the assigned arrival route with step down altitudes, but we're also going to be vectored in. Managing our en route descent planning, receiving radar vectors onto the final approach, should be the last time we get this in the wings programmed, and then we're going to be preparing for an ILS or visual approach down into Boston. All right. So some of the things we need to look at here, if you go back up to the our contents page, right? And if there's something here you're trying to figure out, well, these are all the contents of everything that we cover. Everything, the whole shooting shebang, right? So what we have in this, we have all the different areas. You know, for example, here we have an IFR arrival, for instance, right? So we can click in IFR arrival. The arrival phase of flight demands careful planning and attention to detail. It is essential to review your charts and plan the taxi route upon vacating the runway. And the reason why you want to do this, right? Your arrival in, think about it now. One of the hardest things before you get any sort of practice, it's getting your initial clearance, right? And we follow craft, you know, clearance, route, altitude, frequency, transponder. Craft. Slightly different in Europe, but they're all the same, right? They change things around. They tend to give you the frequency after the squawk, as in your transponder, right? So it's more like craft. But anyway, what we need to figure out here is, how do we get down out of the friggin' sky? And we can't just ramble up to the airport. Oh, look, we're over it. Pull up the handbrake and leg it down. That doesn't work, right? And ATC all the while are trying to maintain separation, right? They're trying to keep other aircraft away, meaning that every time a plane lands, they're not telling another plane to go around or whatever. Know what I mean? So we need to check this out. Another very important thing, and this is often forgotten with pilots landing at airports, they don't plan their vacating point. They just don't plan it, right? And what can happen there is, let's say you land on the runway, and next thing they're going to start giving you a lot of information relating to, you know, taxiway Alpha Bravo, cross this runway over to such a gate. You need to know where they're asking you to go. So it's a good idea to say, right, we should vacate the runway at this area and we should be taxiing that general direction. It just means that when ATC are onto you, you're not completely lost. You're not immediately stopped writing everything down. You already have a good idea of what's happening. All right. So our entire arrival route, you're looking at, you know, your en route elements to where you're going to appear on the map to start your arrival. Then you're going to be reviewing the arrival itself, because it has some restrictions or constraints, as they're referred to. Maximum speeds, maximum altitudes, and minimum altitudes. We're going to have a look at that this evening. Then, of course, once we land, well, what do we do next? So that's what we're doing. So, communication during this phase must be adaptable to various situations, including following standard arrival routes, holding patterns, or receiving vectors from ATC due to traffic or altitude adjustments. Despite the variability, ATC during arrivals typically follow a straightforward pattern. ATC issues an instruction, pilots read it back, the instruction, and then they execute it accordingly. So, turn left heading 270, turn left heading 270, and then you turn left. Assuming the pilot has acquired the Automatic Terminal Information Service, as in we figured out what the ATIS is, well, ideally before we contact the approach, we should know what the weather is, what the active runway is, and we should have an idea if we're going to be vectored, right? So, an example of how the OWL kind of information might look like. ATC would say, Firefly 235, cleared for the ILS approach, runway 34. Now, in America, they don't always say report established. They might, right? But they'll just say, you're cleared for the ILS approach, runway 34. All right, we head her on. Sometimes they might ask you to report when you're established on the localizer. It depends on where you're flying. But if you don't hear it, don't worry about it. You don't need to report when you're established on the localizer. Johnny Mon is here. Good to see you, man. Hope you're well. So that's kind of what we're going to do with our spiel, right? Once cleared for the ILS, the pilot is expected to descend with the glide and use the appropriate speed. Any speed restrictions previously assigned should be lifted. The only exception is if the approach assigns a speed on or before final. If the pilot is unsure about the speed, you can simply ask, right? So you could say cleared ILS runway 34, any speed restrictions. And they might say free speed, they might say best forward speed, or, and we heard this last week, they could say reduce speed or maximum speed 180 until 6 DME. Does anyone know what that means? What are they trying to tell to us? 180 knots until 6 DME. It's a whole load of letters and numbers. Does anyone have an idea? What do they mean by 6 DME? Can anyone remember what DME was? 6 miles before the end of the runway. Yeah. What do they mean by DME though? Can you remember that from last week? Old veteran has his 2 arms up in the air. Me, pick me. So DME means distance measuring equipment. So when you hear, 6 DME, basically they're telling you 180 knots until you get to 6 miles from the runway. DME. So it's kind of a weird way of saying it, isn't it? But that's how they say it. Ah, okay. So DME, that's what they mean by that. The distance measuring equipment. So your speed will be 180 until 6 DME. That's it. You got it, right? Brilliant. Then we have our landing, taxi and shutdown. And again, it's figuring out what it is we're going to be doing. Usually ATC, they're going to give you the winds, the runway, and then the instruction. Clear to land or, long landing approved, whatever. They'll usually give you the wind. We don't read back the wind. We don't read back the wind. We just say, yeah, clear to land. All right. So this manual, as I say, it covers all of the procedures going into them, what to say and what ATC might say, and how would you respond to that. That's all in our own ground school manual, and it's word for word, loosely. You're always going to have little kind of deviations from what's written here. But if you follow this, you're going to be grand, because ATC, they follow this fairly closely as well. All right. So that's what we mean by our arrivals. All right, super. Well, let's go over to the WINGS page here now. So this is at the Boston Virtual ARTCC. And tonight, well, we're going to select IFR flight number 5. All right. So what is number 5? Well, this rating introduced IFR pilots to the standard terminal arrival routes. Filed the wing-specific IFR route from Albany to Boston via the Albany VOR, Victor 146. Then we have a couple of other VORs, and then we'll have either the ORW or the WOONS STAR arrival, right? And that depends on your aircraft. And here's the thing. Here's the thing you need to keep an eye on, right? Depending on the arrival, some of these arrivals might be very specific to a jet, or they might be specific to a propeller aircraft. Think about our departures. Do you remember if you were on if we were a propeller aircraft last week and the week before, well, our clearance altitude, our maximum altitude for the departure was 3,000 feet. If we were in a jet, we can go up to 5,000 feet. There's a reason for this. And if you think back even further, where you say, well, okay, if you're doing pattern work, right? Well, propeller aircraft can stay within a mile and a half of the pattern and their speeds and their altitudes. If you get into faster aircraft like jets, they can go a little bit wider and a little bit higher because they're going to be going a little bit faster. Makes sense, right? Okay. Expect to receive vectors for an ILS or visual approach. Enjoy radar vectors while it's one of the last ratings in the program where you're going to get vectors to final. Okay. So now that we've mastered the standard instrument departure, SID, it's time to introduce its counterpart, the STAR. STARs are IFR procedures designed to help aircraft transition from the en route portion of the flight into the busy approach phase. In addition to helping with certain clearance and traffic flow, STARs often provide guidance or specific instructions for descent that'll help people or can be helpful for your planning. All right? Icarus, we're on VATSIM, my guys, so you probably won't see anyone on. Well, unless folks want to fly along. But yeah, we always tend to be on Southeast Asia, do you know? Anyway, in this flight, we're going to depart Albany via a SID and arrive at Boston via a STAR. The route to file, so they're actually telling us what route to file, and it's followed by either the ORW or the WOONS based on your aircraft type. You can expect ATC to assign the Albany departure. Okay, so they're going to tell us. So, well, let's go in and have a little look here, shall we? So, let's look at the airport and have a look at our charts, right? So we're going to check out the Albany airport charts. All right, open the airport. Let's have a look. Let's look at the charts, and we're looking for a departure. All right, so we have runway Albany 7 departure. All right, let's have a look. So depending on what we're going to get, takeoff runway 1, standard minimum climb. So you can see these takeoff obstacles if there are any. We can also see other information here. Initial climb, routing, on radar vectors to assign route fixed, maintain 4,000, expects clearance to required altitude 10 minutes after departure. So we're kind of getting an idea. It also says here, initial climb and your top altitude is going to be 4,000 feet. See the way we're reading this off the chart? So your initial climb, so if we're taking off from runway 1, we're going to be climb heading 011 and our top altitude is 4,000 feet. All right. What if it's, well, no, that's it. Take off obstacles and go into more detail and then more detail. So if we have a look at it here, there's a pole 5 from DER, 5 right at the center line, 26 feet above the ground, building 1095 from DER. So these are giving you building references and they're letting you know where they are. Yeah. So there's buildings in the area. For initial climb, see inset. So we can see it here. So basically what they're telling us is, depending on what our speed is going to be, and these are our climb profiles here, runway 1 is takeoff. If it was runway 10, we need to be climbing at a minimum of 365 feet per minute. It's okay. If it was runway 19, it was 400, or runway 28, it was 471. So they're the minimum feet per minute in which we have to climb. The aircraft we're using tonight, they're more than capable of doing that, right? Your initial climb is going to be climb heading 011 on runway 1. So we're just trying to, all right, okay, that makes total sense. So 011, if that is the one that's active, right? And we'll figure out what's active here now in a moment. Okay, that's grand. That's the departure. However, what about our arrival, right? So let's go in and have a look here. So we're going to look at Boston. And we're going to have a look at the, we're going to look at the charts. We're going to look at the charts first. And it's going to be a star, right? And they've already told us we're taking the WOONS arrival. All right? All right, here's the WOONS arrival. Okay, well, here's Norwich. Here's the ORW VOR. Look, they've already told us that. All right, so we have some information here. Now, do you see these at Jewett? We can expect. Now, see the way it expects maximum speed 250 knots. And we have this 11,000. Now, has anyone seen this before? See the way you have like the line on top and the line on the bottom? Therefore, the number is right in the middle. Has anyone seen that before? Did you know what it is? We'll go back to that in a moment. You can see we have our course heading 057 degrees, altitude, distance, speed the whole way. Then we get to frosty, hefty, and then we have WOONS. And we have more information. Props landing at Logan International, expect 7,000 feet. Well, that's going to be us. We're in the TBM. All aircraft landing at Mansfield or Marshfield, expect 3,000. We're not going to be doing 3,000 because we're not landing at those airports. And it says here, expect radar vectors to final. See this? Props landing at Logan. That's where we're going. We're going to Logan. 7,000. All right, so we should expect 7,000. All right. Okay. What else do we have here? Applicable to props landing Logan International and all aircraft landing at Norwood, Mansfield and Marshfield. All right. Applicable at 11,000 and above. And it also serves the 1 Bravo 9 at Kilo Golf Hotel Golf. The WOONS 2 arrival. And the route is from over the Norwich VOR via the radial. See this OR 057? OR is the radial to WOONS. Expect radar vectors to final. And you'll see this a lot when it comes to flying in the United States because they're going to give you tons of information on your plates, on your charts. All right. Toto is here. Good to see you. Who else come in the door there now? Martel, welcome aboard. Hope you're well. So this is what the arrival is going to look like. Yeah, we're going to be flying from the Norwich VOR, heading up to where WOONS is, and once we get to WOONS, expect radar vectors to final. All right, so once we get to WOONS, we're going to be told what to do. Turn left heading, 010, turn right heading 090, whatever. But once we get to this location here, we're going to be told what to do. Now, if we're flying just by, if we're flying just by VOR, yeah, well, we need to work out roughly, well, how far from the Norwich VOR is WOONS going to be? Now, you can also fly by GPS. You can put WOONS into your FMS or into your GPS, and that'll tell you where you're going to be. So one way of doing this is going to be measuring, well, we're going to be heading outbound on the 057 radial from Norwich, and see where the D is? 23.5, 32.2. So see that, 32.4, see that? So roughly when you're 32 miles outbound from that VOR, that's when you're at the WOONS waypoint. All right, make sense so far, lads? Or have I lost anyone? That's all wonderful news. So what about these numbers we're referring to? Well, let's go in and spend a little bit more time with them. Whether you're on the Norwich VOR or the WOONS arrival, the Norwich arrival or the WOONS arrival, it'll depend on your aircraft type. It's always important to pay attention to any note contained on the procedure chart. A check of the ORW arrival chart will show a note designating this arrival is for turbojet aircraft only. We've done the very same for the WOONS arrival. It said prop aircraft only. Do you know what I mean? Right, if you're flying a prop aircraft for the flight, you'll need to use the WOONS arrival. It's common for SIDs and STARs to be restricted for specific aircraft type, like jets or non-jets, or require navigation capability such as an ORNAV. Pay close attention to notes like these on your instrument procedures when flight planning. So remember, this all goes back into our flight planning. We got to figure out, hey, what are we going to be getting when we get up here? And whereabouts on the chart do we need to focus? Okay, for the purpose of this training material, we're going to review the ORW chart applicable. Now that's only for this, but let's go in and have a look at the ORW chart. So if we look at the STAR, yeah, where is the ORW? ORNAV must be here. Yeah, the Norwich 7. The Norwich 7 arrival. And look, see here. Inches, transition level 180, DME and radar required, turbojet aircraft only. So it's telling us, hey, this procedure is only for jets, turbojets. That's what I mean by turbojets. It's old spiel, but that's what they're talking about. Jets, right? And if you look at their routing, it's different. See that? We're up here somewhere for WOONS. So it is very, very different, yeah? We're on the 052 radial, they're on the 082 radial. So you get the idea. They are different, all right? All right, super. Let's go back in. So looking at the chart, no published transitions, we're not worried about that. You can join any of these. So we're saying, okay, let's look at it, right? Note that it shows published transitions on the Calverton, Hampton and Kennedy VORs, meaning that you could join the arrival at any one of those VORs. However, it's possible ATC could clear you to a STAR at another waypoint, or they could vector you onto the STAR. So if we were looking at this, for example, we're saying, okay, well, look, here's the Calverton VOR, right? There's Hampton, or all the way down the bottom here, here's Kennedy. But they could say, you know, turn right heading and at out, join the arrival. Join the arrival at out, OUTTT, or up at Cran.
Hello there.
You've often seen this coming into Dublin, yeah? When you're flying the arrivals in, they might get you to fly the entire arc, or they might get you to, you know, go direct LATMO, right? It's the same sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Mike, Mac, thank you very much indeed. Hemel is here. Welcome aboard. Toto, good to see you. So that's the idea there. All right, makes sense. Once you've joined the STAR, navigating along it, it's very similar to navigating along the Victor Airways used in the previous lesson. If ATC clears you as filed, simply follow the route. Once reaching the Norwich VOR, you don't need any specific or special clearance to join the Norwich 7 arrival because it was part of your originally filed route. After the VOR, join the 082 radial. For us, it's going to be the 052 radial. If your aircraft is DME equipped, it can be found at these distances if you're flying VOR, right? At or before out intersection, switch your VOR frequency to track Providence until reaching the Providence VOR, and so on and so on. So that's just telling you how to fly the route onto the arrival. When you're given one of these instructions that differs from the STAR, you should not immediately assume it because you did something improper. It's more than likely you're being given this instruction to aid in the smooth flow of air traffic. So if ATC asks you to do something, don't think that don't think that you've messed up, right? Like our low altitude airways, STARs often include minimum en route altitudes along each segment. Located between the waypoints along the STAR, the MEA is the lowest safe altitude that you can descend to along that segment. Note that an MEA is not an instruction to descend, and it's very rarely you would actually fly the Star at the minimum en route altitude. But you can see where they are. See the 11? Yeah, you can see where the numbers are. 5,000 is here, right? Okay, but what about these numbers that we looked at? Because this is where it can get confusing, and I want you to remember this, right? So up here on top, we have numbers inside. Yeah. The numbers inside means it's a mandatory altitude. Therefore, you don't go above, you don't go below. It's a mandatory altitude. They want you at 5,500 feet in this case. If you have a number on the top and nothing on the bottom, this is how I want you to remember this. If there's something on the bottom, if there's nothing on the bottom, don't go below. If there's nothing on top, don't go above. That makes sense? So, Bob Ross time. Let's try this one, right? So if I'm going to say, right, here's a straight line, here's a straight line, and here's a straight line, right? I'm very, very fancy now. Right, okay, so if I say right, and this is for speed. We're going to do this for speed, okay? So if I put in this, where's my eraser? So if I do this, right? Jesus, Murphy. How can we paint that with a brush? There we go. So if we say 250. Anyone know what that is?
Oh, Jesus.
Anyone know? So if there's nothing below, don't go below. So 250 is the minimum speed. If there's nothing below, don't go below. If there's nothing above, don't go above. This one here, the 250 in this case, is the maximum speed. Yeah? You can kind of look at these as symbols. There's nothing below, therefore you can't go below it. There's nothing above it, therefore I can't go above that. If it's right in the middle, you go at exactly that. That makes sense? We'll try another one, right? Hang on there now. Balls, put that back. Right, let's do this one for altitude, so, right? So what if I do this? And I want you guys to tell me what they are, right? So we're going to go A, B, and C. So tell me, what's the answer for A? And this is to do with altitude, yeah? Altitude only. So what does A mean? Not above 10,000. Correct. There's nothing above it. Don't go above it. All right, lads. What about B? Yeah, it's 1,000. Should be 1,000. Yeah. 1,000 feet, yeah. So B. So there's nothing below, therefore not below 5,000 feet. You can't go in there and you can't go up there. And then the last one, C. What do we do with this one? That should be 1800. I'm shocking writing. 1,800. Yeah. Must be 1,800. Not above, not below. So try and remember, because you'll see this a lot. Try and remember.
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
If there's nothing below, don't go below. If there's nothing above, don't go above. Simple as that, right? Just remember that way of looking at the charts, right? So we go back in here to our charts, right? Flight level 230. What do we reckon? Can we go above that? Can we go below that? Flipper Alloy, thank you very much indeed. Cheers, man. 43 months. Jesus. Must be at. Must be at. All right. There's no other examples on this one, although this one here is. What about this one? What about that 270? below 27. Yeah? Remember, if there's nothing above, don't go above. If there's nothing below, don't go below. That's the way I've learned how to read these things, and it works. So that's what I go by. All right? Are we happy enough? Rock on. So, you can see where the crack is here. Block altitudes. What happens if you see... Jesus. What happens if you see that? See this one over here? Your 15,000 or 12,000? What do we reckon? How much tolerance is allowed in that? Zero tolerance. They are known as constraints. ATC might tell you to go above or below. You follow ATC in that instance. So you have a minimum and you have a maximum. They want you to fly somewhere between 12,000 and 15,000. That's a range. Here's your lowest 12 and your highest 15. Minimum, maximum. Makes sense? Because you have two numbers in there. You might get that in speeds as well. It could say anywhere from 180 to 220 knots, for example. Do you know what I mean? So you get the idea. All right, you get the idea. So 12,000 or 15,000. And it goes all the way to 17,999 feet before we start applying flight level. Slightly different in the US. Okay, we get the idea. Right. So, where's this now? Leaving 17,000, descending 1,000. So here's a bit more. Example, over VOR, turbojet aircraft landing far left or right at Boston should expect a mandatory cross at altitude 11,000 feet and 250 knots. So we could hear something like, you know, cross the Norwich VOR at or below 12,000, speed 180. So we need to figure out, hey, I need to get my aircraft to that altitude by the time I get to that waypoint. Now you can do it in some of your autopilots. I'll show you how to do it with the GTN. You can pop it in there. It'll figure it out, right? And also your speeds. So we just need to be aware that ATC might ask us to do things like this. And it does make sense. If ATC are saying, hey, at this waypoint, let's say it's the Norwich VOR, they'll say, we want you at the Norwich VOR at 150. Altitude. Here's one. See the way it says expect. Now, your chart says expect. ATC are going to tell you what to do. But you can expect that altitude. So we're planning for that. We should be down at around 11,000 feet. Yeah? Expect speed or expect an altitude. We can see it here. So once we get to the Providence VOR, yeah, it's expecting us to be at 250 knots or lower at 11,000 feet. Okay? So that's all they mean. It's terminology. Expect to be here by there. All right. But again, they're going to tell us what to do. Okie dokie. Is that clear now? It is. While descending, if you determine you're unable to meet the crossing instruction, you must notify the controller so that an alternate instruction can be issued. Okay, so if they were to say, you know, at the Providence VOR, cross the Providence VOR at 11,000 feet. And let's say, for example, you're at 16,000 feet and you're doing, you know, 130 knots, but you can't descend that fast. What do you say to ATC? Unable. And then they'll give you slightly further. Or they might ask you, okay, well, what can you do? I can do 12,000. All right, do that. Do you know what I mean? It's a matter of kind of teasing it out. All right? Right. As discussed with the departure procedures, it's important to read the textual description of any chart in addition to reviewing the graphical depiction. In reading the text of the Norwich chart, you will notice that you can expect to eventually be vectored off for the star on the approach. Now, if you want to know more about how you calculate your descent to meet a crossing restriction, there's further lessons on that on IFR 15. Descent calculators do it. Most aircraft have it in there. Some of the autopilot units are going to tell you. The aircraft are going to tell you. But if you want to know what it is, it's a matter of what's my current speed now? What's the distance to where that waypoint is? Once you calculate that, you can work out, okay, that means I have, you know, 6 minutes at 1,000 feet a minute. Okay, I'll drop 1,000 feet in 6 minutes, and I'm 12 minutes away. Okay, well, I'll be dropping, you know, what's the analogy I'm trying to do? I have a calculator here anyway. But if we were to say, right, we're here, and let's say we're at 6,000 feet, and we need to travel to here, yeah, and that's 4,000 feet. And let's say the distance between here and there is, I don't know, 10 miles. And we're doing a current speed of 120 knots, yeah? What sort of descent or feet per minute do we need to get down to that? So if we're doing 120 knots, that's 120 knots every hour. Sorry, that's 120, yeah, 120 knots every hour, okay? We've 10 miles for this. We've 10 miles. So you're dividing your distance over your speed and the altitude you need to drop. You need to drop down to 2,000 feet. Okay, so we need to drop 2,000 feet, yeah? If we're doing 120 knots per hour, how many knots will we do in 6 minutes? Or in 10 minutes, yeah? So if we're doing we're doing 120, yeah? Well, if we divide that by 60 minutes, we're doing 2 knots per minute. So by 5 is 10 miles, yeah? So we have a distance of about 5 miles, or in this case, it's going to be minutes. So you're going to be putting in your descent. Now, if you need to drop 2,000 feet over the space of 10 miles at this speed, well, if you descend at 2,000 feet per minute, it's going to take you 1 minute to get to that altitude, which would be here. We need 2 minutes. So what's that going to be? If 2,000 feet per minute is going to get you there in 5 miles, yeah? Well, then what do we need to change our descent altitude per minute to get there in 10 miles? Rough guess? I'll give you a clue. It's exactly half. So if we descend at 1,000 feet per minute and we maintain the speed of 120 knots, in the 10 nautical miles we'll travel, we will descend down to 4,000 feet in that time. That makes sense? There's more information on it. Most of your modern aircraft, they're going to figure all this out for you. A lot of them actually have descent calculators. All right? We'll figure it out. I'll show you in the aircraft anyway. Right, when you're ready in the when you're ready for the flight, spawn in at Albany, which I've done. We're going to plan the following route, and we want the WOONS arrival. Whether you're on the Norwich or WOONS arrival will depend on your aircraft type. Okay, if you're flying a prop for the flight, you'll need to use the WOONS arrival. Make sure you have easy access to both the Albany departures and the appropriate arrival charts. The Albany departure procedure is much simpler than the Logan. You've already mastered it at KBOS, which we have. But you must still be familiar so that you can comply with its instructions. Once airborne, there's a few different ways ATC may choose to have you proceed on course via the filed route. All right, let's go in and look at our plan. We're on the ground at Albany, KALB, and we're going to Boston. And let's pop in the route, which is that. Now, the only thing we're missing is WOONS. We need the WOONS arrival. All right, this is giving me a route. So we're going to be taking off from Albany. Here's our first VOR, second VOR, third VOR, and then we're on up into Boston. Now, this is highly important. Why is this important, lads? We need to write down some of our VOR frequencies. Now, with SkyVector, which is free, click on the navlog. This will actually give you a downloadable, printable bit of information, and it's going to post all the frequencies at the waypoints that you need. See over here in the corner, right? Zoom in there now, Betsy. Now, it's telling us 8,000 feet. We're probably not going to fly at 8,000 feet. We're heading eastbound. What altitude do we need? Odd or even, lads? So we need these frequencies, yeah? We're traveling odd. So we need an odd altitude, right? Now, we already have the previous knowledge that they're going to expect us to be at 11,000 feet at some stage. Therefore, we know we can go up. We can go up, right? So we need to note these. So I'm going to write down these VOR frequencies. I recommend you guys do the same, right? So it's going to be ALB. That's the VOR, and it's going to be 115.3. Next up is going to be the CTR VOR, and that's 115.1. These are nav frequencies, yeah? Next up is going to be HFD, and that's going to be 114.9. Next, then we have the Norwich VOR, and that's going to be 110. Now, the Boston VOR is going to be important. So I'm going to grab the Boston VOR. Why would I want the Boston VOR?
Hello there.
Well, I can tune my radio frequencies into it, meaning that I can get triangulation or I can get a second bearing if I need it. So the Boston VOR, if I need it, is going to be 112.7. All right. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 frequencies written down. Hey, Strap. Good to see you, buddy. So these are my VOR frequencies. They're important. I need them. All right. All right. So next up, it is time to file a flight plan. So we're going to file
Hello
it.
there.
Now, let's look at the VATSIM radar. We can see we have information already. So we know the runway in use. Let me see. Information uniform. Let me see. 305. ILS and visual approach, runway 9. What's departure runway? Let me see. ILS and visual approach, runway 19 is in use. Okay, so we're going to be going off runway 19 at Albany. All right, back into our charts. And let's go back into airports. Let's look at Albany. Let's look at our departure. SID, Albany, and it's runway 19er. So we're going to be climbing on a heading of 191 degrees at an altitude of 4,000 feet. All right. So we know 4,000 feet is our initial climb. ATC will tell us, but if they don't, we know what it is. Now, do we need to worry about anything here? Runway 19, standard with minimum climb of 400 feet a minute. We must have 400 feet per minute. Minimum. Okay. Makes sense. When we take off, we're heading down this neck of the woods here. Okay. Back into our flight plan. Sorry, back into here. Let's go over now to Boston. So Boston is up and running. And let's have a look here. So it says ILS runway 22 left approach is in use. So it's going to be 22 left. So runway 22 left into Boston. All right. Well, let's go in and have an old gawk. So we're going to go into airports. We're going to go back here and have a look at Boston. We're going to have a look at the runway and it's going to be 22 left. That's active, right? So we can go ahead and bring up the chart. Bring in the airport. So 22 left. We're coming in from the north. All right. Now, this is where we want to start planning. When we land on 22 left, yeah, well, we know we want to get parking over here. That's where signature FBO is. Yeah, see over there? So when we land, well, we're going to be either crossing on 33 right, unlikely. Chances are we're going to jump off here at Foxtrot. So I'm trying to plan in my head already. Well, all going well, we're going to jump off at Foxtrot. We can review that later on during the cruise, but that's roughly where we're going. All right. All right. What about the WOONS arrival? So let's go back and have a look at our arrival. And we're going on the WOONS arrival. So once we get to WOONS, we know they're going to vector us from down here. Yeah. They're going to flight or pinboard required. Oh yeah, I can't draw on it. They're going to vector us from somewhere here all the way up to up here. All the way up to the top. We've got to go around the airport. Now, whether or not they bring us to the west or the east, that's up to ATC. So we already have a bit of an idea of what we're doing, lads, yeah? Right. Let's go back into Sky Vector. That looks good to me. Albany, that looks good. So we're going to go into SimBrief now and plan the flight. Our flight number on SimBrief is November 235 Romeo Mike. We are departing from Albany, arrival into Boston, and our aircraft type is that of a TBM A50. In you go. And let's have a look. So that's not the route we're to use. That's the route we are to use. Analyze the route. And we want the WOONS 2 arrival. Yeah, so if we put in WOONS, that looks pretty good to me. Is it WOONS 2? It is WOONS 2, isn't it? Yeah, WOONS 2. All right. So we're going to analyze the route. We can see, right, we're going from there, and then we're on up the road here. That looks good to me. It's giving us departure runway 19er, arrival 22 left. Brilliant. Altitude, I'm going to put this in myself, lads. We're going up to 15,000 feet. Nice and comfy. We can go higher, we'll go faster, but 15,000 for me is good. And let's see here now. Let's reanalyze that. That looking good. It's going to give us about an hour in the air. All right, I'm happy with that. Let's generate this flight. All right. Now, if anyone's stuck, just ask a question, right? Just ask a question. It probably seems a little bit more confusing than it actually is, right? But it's fairly straightforward. All right, so we're going to have a look. This is our flight. We're departing from Albany, Boston. Now, it gave me a different alternate. I don't like that. I should have changed that. If this doesn't work out right, we're just going to head back to Albany, right? So see this alternate? We'll just put back in KALB. All right. Generate that flight again. If you're going back to another airport, well, you want to be reviewing the charts and the ATIS and all that information from the other airport. You know what I mean? Right, so this is good to me. So we're going to be departing. That's grand. Arrival, that's all grand. 15,000 feet. Our distance, average wind, right? So it is windy. 304, 32 knots. We'll have a bit of a tailwind. Deviation, that's quite okay. That looks good to me. Flight plan download or pre-file on a network. Well, let's go ahead and pop this onto our VATSIM account. So we're going to file this flight plan now. All right. So sign in and let's have a look. All right. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Time en route, grand. Fuel endurance, we've about 4 hours. We've about 5 hours, to be honest. There's our route. And down here, we're going to put in under remarks, WINGS IFR number 5. Time off the block 1905 Zulu. Off block, no, that's all wrong. So it's going to be 2020, let's say. Altitude, airspeed in knots, 277, unlikely. Probably 220. Okay, let's go ahead and file. Flight plan has been filed. Lovely hurdling. So, make sure that's all connected. We're going to go back into Navigraph, flights. I'm going to import the flight directly from SimBrief. And these are all the little tools we can use to help us along, right? So this is what our flight plan looks like. Don't necessarily need to keep that map on. It's not terribly important to me. We could go to the IFRs, Chester. That'll do. And that's giving us our waypoints heading in, right? But you can change this map to whatever you're comfortable with. Some stuff you're going to be looking at going, what did I Jesus, right? We'll go with that. And we have ATC in this area as well. We have loads of ATC, which is brilliant.
Hello there.
You'll notice, so as we're looking at this, we'll check out ATC over here as well, because I need to look at the airport. So what do we have? So we have Albany, and then we have Boston approach. So if you look at here, hang on, we have the whole area, sure, look. Yeah, you have Boston Center on. So we kind of have an idea of what's happening. When we leave Albany, we're going to be talking to that controller. Then we're going to hand it over to Boston Center. Then we're going to jump on to Boston Approach. So we have full ATC coverage. And a tip of the cap to the guys and girls over at the Boston Virtual ARTCC. They're giving up their time to help us learn this. It's incredible to see. So to all the Boston controllers, thank you very, very much indeed, lads. It's amazing. The course you've provided, plus giving us the coverage, it's friggin' amazing, isn't it? Brilliant. Right, so that's our ATC stuff. Last little thing I want to check is, well, if we're blasting off from runway 19, let's zoom in here to the airport, give ourselves an idea of what it is we're doing, right? So there's runway 1, there's 9er. So I'm miles away. So I'm going to plan taxi Alpha, cross runway 10, and hold short at, you know, it could be Mike, it could be Bravo. It doesn't really matter. I don't necessarily need, I can do an intersection departure. All right. So I have an idea. I've already figured out, well, I'm here. I'm going to be going up that neck of the woods. I'm down at the GA Park and down by the FBO. Millionaires here. I think that's Naughty up there. He's up at the Bluebird hangar. So that's how she's looking. All right. Okay. That looks good. I'm going to keep this window open for me traffic. That looks good. And now we're going to start prepping the aircraft as we plan for our departure. So all I was doing here with the TBM is just having a quick check, making sure that all our maintenance is looking good. We have sufficient oil, all the jazz, because we've been flying this machine for quite some time. I've also updated, would you believe it, lads? I've updated my graphics driver. I did that yesterday. And then I had to lie down after all the worry. But it seems to be working just fine. So let's go with it, right? Let's go with it. So what we're going to do, we're going to hop into our aircraft and we're going to start powering up this machine. So get the steps in. Thanks very much. I got the door closed. There we are. Ah, Gibbo, good to see you. You got a new oh, Jesus. Wait, a new... Wait, did I even mention the strap? Oh, wheel chocks, pitot covers. Go ahead and close the engine doors on the cowling. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And engine covers away. Fuel, we got 110 gallons on each side. That's more than sufficient. Right, so we're going to go down here. We're going to turn on the switch for our inertial separator. Landing gear position is down. Flaps are in the up position. All engine controls are off. And we'll get our nav lights on and we'll start putting power in to the machine. So that sound you're hearing now, that's just the... oh, we did! I got a new strap from Amazon. Jesus. How are you, Gibbo? Welcome in, my dude. Oh, come here. I figured out how to do... Hang on, Gibbo. Oh, Jesus, then you're going to be proud of me. Look. Hang on now. This is going to be worth it. I'm delaying everyone for a minute, but listen, it's going to be worth it. Right now. Imagine if I picked the wrong person. Yes. Right now. Right now. Ah, right, brilliant. Okay. Hang on now, Gibbo. Press a button on your watch there, me good man. You better do this. It wouldn't work the last day, but I reckon I have it sorted now. No, they're not the new hair. Shut off, will you? New hair implants. For God's sake. Gibbo, did you turn on the button? It prevents debris from getting in the engine. Yeah, the inertial separator. That's exactly what it does. Right, I'll wait for that to go ping. Right. Ignition goes to auto. We're going to come down here to our fuel pump. Turn that on. Prop full. Mixture's off. Oh, wait. Shh, shh, shh.
How's it going on anyways?
You're supposed to say over. Gibbo, it's Murph. Over.
Roger, Dodger, rubber ducky, over.
This is the greatest invention there ever has been because I'm going to be plaguing you now, especially when you're in work. Do you know what I mean? Over.
Oh, I didn't actually think of that. How do I turn it off?
Right, come here. I'm very busy now. That's at least it works now. Do you know, we're walkie-talkie buddies. I'm going to fly this, but listen, it's you enjoy yourself now and take it fierce handy. Oh, and by the way, did you get that shirt? Over.
Never. It's not going to happen. Not in a million years. Keep her between the ditches. It's on.
Over.
Over.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. That only took me a full weekend to figure out how it works. Right. Continuing on with our stuff, friends. Right, fuel. Yes, yes, yes. Mixture is in the off position. Cancel you. And let's go for a start, friends. Epic Fool, good to see you. Alright, we're watching our ITT for a hot start. NG for a hung start. NG, we're looking good on a rotation. Get her up there to about 18%. I'm going to throw in some fuel. What's that ITT? Looking good. 730. Once our NG goes above 50, disengage the starter. There's 50. That's a good start. Starter off. Generators on. Ignition auto. Continue with our flows. .31 degrees, hot as balls. Turn it down there fairly lively. And we have a good start. Newfoundland, good to see you. Gibbo has to get a shirt. Yeah, he does. Right, go ahead and caution or cancel the cautions. Pedo stall heater. All right. We're going to start tuning in some stuff. Our flight plan, we can import this devil now from SimBrief. Import from SimBrief. Yeah. Okay, that. Okay, that. Squawk is on standby. That's quite okay. We have the Albany ATIS on 120450. 120450.
Upon initial contact, you have information Victor.
Victor!
Albany International Airport ATIS information Victor. 1951 Zulu. Wind 170 at 9er. Visibility 10. Ceiling 25,000 broken. Temperature 25. 2.6. Altimeter 3012. ILS and visual approach runway 19er in use. Advise on initial contact. You have information Victor.
Alright, Albany Tower 119.5.
Albany International Airport 8 TIS information Victor. 1951 Zulu. Wind 170 at 9er. Visibility 10. Ceiling 25,000 broken.
Alright. 119.5. Then we'll have Albany approach. He's going to be 132.825. 825 with a 132. And while we're here, lads, we're going to start dialing in some of our VORs, right? Now, we need to look at this route because I'm not entirely happy by it. Let's go in and have a look here in the map because it doesn't seem to be getting me to Boston, does it? No, it doesn't. Look at that. So, that flight plan, I'm not happy with it, so I'm going to start putting this in manually. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So I'm going to pop this in ourselves. Origin is going to be Kilo Alpha Lima Bravo, enter. Destination Boston, KBOS, enter. Waypoint along the way, so it's via Alpha Lima Bravo. It's the Albany VOR. Up you. After the Albany VOR, it's going to be over to the Victor 146. Victor 146. Didn't like that. We'll use the waypoint of CTR. Chester. We can introduce the airway. So we're saying Victor 146. Victor 146. And we will exit this at CTR. Load. Albany, very good. At a waypoint after CTR, it's going to be to HFD.
It's a big 10-4, good buddy.
Duplicates found. Rambog Mord, 31 months. Thank you very, very much indeed, me dude. The absolute ledge. From the Harvard, it's then over to the Norwich. O or W. And then finally, it's going to be Boston. And what we can do, we can load the procedure. The arrival is going to be the WOONS 2 arrival. Transition, there's none. Runway, none. Leave that alone. We're going to load the arrival. And there's our WOONS waypoint. Alright, that looks better. Now what we can do, remember our constraints. So when we get a minimum altitude or a must altitude, well, we just pop it in here. Alright, I'll show you that now in a while. Alright, that's looking good to me. We'll keep on VOR or VLOC. Engine condition is good. And we're going to talk to ATC now, and we're going to get our clearance, Clarence, and let's see what happens, right? Wings 5 to Boston. That's what we're looking for. Albany Tower, very good afternoon. November 235 Romeo Mike. Information Victor over at General Aviation Parking. Looking to pick up our IFR to Boston for the Wings IFR 5 flight. Live.
November 235 Romeo Mike, Albany Tower, cleared to the Boston Airport. The Albany 7 departure, radar vectors Albany, that as filed. Maintain 4,000. Departure frequencies 132.82, squawk 4763.
We are cleared to Boston via the Albany 7 departure, then via the Albany VOR as filed. Altitude 4,000 feet, departure frequency 132.82, squawking 4763, November 235, Romeo Mike.
November 235 Romeo Mike, read back correct, and I'll let you know when the wings is approved.
Roger, 5 Romeo Mike. All right, 4,000 is our initial. Go ahead and lock you in there.
And Albany Tower, Firefly 301. I've received my clearance via PDC. Just wanted to confirm that that's a WINGS IFR 5 flight as well.
Volume's okay, lads. Let me know.
Firefly 301. Okay, wings on request, standby.
So we got some clearances on request, but that's okay. We just sit tight. Everything here is looking good. Cabin temperature's coming down. That's what I wanted. And the Albany 7 departure, right?
November 5 Romeo Mike, your wings IFR 5 approved. Advisory to taxi.
Roger, we'll advise when ready to taxi. 5 Romeo Mike. Right, quick check on our
And
charts.
Firefly 301, your wings IFR 5 is also approved.
Let's look at our departure.
Also approved for Firefly 301, thanks.
So our SID, the Albany 7, let's have a look. Runway 19er. We know what it is, lads. Standard climb, minimum climb rate of 400 feet per minute on a climb heading of 191 degrees, 4,000 feet. On radar vectors to assigned route, maintain 4,000. Expects clearance to be requested. Altitude flight level will be 10 minutes after our departure. All right. That looks good. That looks good. So it's going to be 191 in the heading, climbing up to 4,000 feet. Go ahead and do that now. Let's look at our HSI. Heading is going to be 191. Get this guy around. I've learned that when someone says don't ask, they don't have to ask. So 191, wasn't it? Over you go. 191.
Albany Tower, November 89377. We got information with Victor at the GA parking. Ready to taxi VFR, close pattern.
Ooh, close pattern. All right, we're going to look for taxi now.
November 8 377, Albany Tower, runway 19er, taxi via Alpha, cross runway 10 at Alpha.
We get the idea, so we're going to get something similar. See that Alpha one?
Taxi to runway 19er via Alpha, cross 10 at Alpha for November 8 377. Second.
On November 235 Romeo Mike, we're ready for taxi.
November 5 Romeo Mike, runway 19er, taxi via Alpha, cross runway 10 at Alpha, and follow the Cessna.
Taxi runway 19er via Alpha, crossing runway 10 at Alpha, and we'll follow that Cessna for November 235 Romeo Mike. Right. There she blows. Let's boogie. Squawk. What was the squawk? 4763. 4763. On you go. Brakes off. Rolling forward.
And Albany Tower, Firefly 301, also ready for taxi. Happy to follow the other two that have already been cleared to start the runway.
That's flaps.
Firefly 301, for now, runway 19er, taxi via Kilo Papa, hold short of Alpha.
Hold short Alpha.
Exit to runway 19 via Kilo Papa and hold short of Alpha for Firefly 301.
So there's that Cessna. We're just going to follow him down. Kira, good to see you, man. We actually have beautiful weather, but let's see what Boston's going to give us. Now, we'll have to tune into other frequencies along the way, lads, yeah? So, in terms of having the aircraft prepped, I'm relatively okay. What I didn't do, I haven't tuned in my nav radio, so we're going to do that now. So I'm going to tune into the Albany VOR. That's going to be 115.3. I'm going to pop him in there. The next VOR after that is going to be 1151. And just have that ready to go. Yeah? Avi Apollo, good to see you. Does this aircraft have custom sounds? It does. It's a default airport as well for Albany. It'd be pretty sweet if they had something custom for it, but they don't. It's a forgotten gem of an aircraft. Iron Man, the TBM, mate. It's so good. It's so good. All right, so we're going to be crossing 110. Let's flick on some lights here. Left is clear. Right is clear. Continue on. That Cessna's absolutely booting it. Look, he's all the way down there. All right, we're looking good. There's a naughty gnome. There he is. How are you, naughty? Ah, brilliant. Rental time is money. Exactly. TBM is a nice plane. Love the default one, 2020. Yeah, surely, Dev. They're an awesome aircraft. I do love the TBM. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So when we climb out here...
Firefly 301, you can continue taxi left turn Alpha.
Continue taxi left turn on Alpha for Firefly 301.
So when we blast off out of here, we're on a heading of 191 degrees, climbing up to 4,000 feet. We will expect further information. We're going to be following our VOR nav, right? So we're going to be tuning into our VOR to make sure we're following the right VOR, either inbound or outbound, right? So we'll see how we go. We'll probably be tracking the inbound. Yeah, it's a 9:30 in 2020, yeah. 9:30. So this Cessna, we're going to have a lot more jump on him.
The car in
Jesus!
baby!
19 out Alpha.
Stu Snape, thank you very much indeed for the gifted subs,
November
mate.
377, make left close traffic, wind 170 at 9er, runway 19er, clear for takeoff.
So he's getting a left turn after departure.
19 clear for takeoff, 89377, thank you.
So we want to make sure he's well clear before we get up there. Stu Snape, thank you very, very much indeed, my guy. What an absolute ledge. Lads, we just got a tier 1 sub, but thanks to Stu. Be sure to say thank you very much. We're going to sit tight here. We're going to let that Cessna take off and then let him turn left. All right. Stay tight. There he rambles. Now we might get position and hold. Let's see what happens. Quick check before we go. Flaps are set. Got our lights on. Got a squawk on. 4763, 4763. Departure will be 13282. You're in. VOR to Albany 1153. VOR to, well, the other one, I forget the name of it, but that's in. That was in the old days, line up and wait. Was it line up and wait or position and hold? Line up and wait, they still say it, don't they? Right, lads. Keep my little book of notes beside me, and let's see what happens. Position and hold, yeah, they were the good old days. So there's Naughty. That Cessna's just taken off, and he's going to vacate. Well, he's going to enter the pattern over the left-hand side. Make sure there's decent separation between us and them. Naughty is waving. Go on yourself. Now, the initial fix for this VOR, I probably want to be putting in what? Let's make life easier. Let's cheat a little. Let us use the...
November 5, Romeo Mike, just advised ready to depart.
5 Romeo Mike, ready for departure.
November 5, Romeo Mike, wind 170 at 9er, runway 19er, clear for takeoff.
Clear takeoff, runway 19er, 5 Romeo Mike. All right. Alrighty. Left. Right. All clear. Line ourselves up here good and easy. Okay, so our initial routing from this is... It's going to be around the 1516s, I would say. Okay,
And
we're
Albany
walking,
Tower, Firefly
talking,
301
squawking.
is ready to depart when spacing
Parking
allows.
in.
Firefly 301, roger, yeah, it'll be a bit for the sequential to Boston.
Yep, no problem at all.
Take up power set. Speed live. Looking for about 85, 90 knots. There's 80. There's 90. Oopsie daisy. Pause and ready to climb. gear up, tap our toe brakes, watch the wind. Flaps coming in, yaw damp on. IAS, autopilot. Easy does her now.
November 5 Romeo Mike, contact departure. Have a good flight.
Over to departure, 5 Romeo Mike. Thanks so much. Departure, November 235 Romeo Mike, passing 1,100 for 4,000.
So 235 Romeo Mike, Albany departure, good day, radar contact, leaving 2,000, turn left heading 120, join the Victor 146 airway, climb maintain 10,000.
After 2,000, right turn 120 degrees onto the Victor 146 airway, and we'll be climbing to 10,000 for 5 Romeo Mike.
Hello, 235 Romeo Mike, just confirm on the left turn heading 120.
I forgot me right and left. Confirming left turn 120 degrees for November 235 Romeo Mike. You big agent, Murphy! This is your right hand, this is your left hand. What a feckin' agent. Right, climb there now, you divil you. Yup, you with that, yup, Dibby Janey then. Jesus. Do we know for sure that the brakes still work when the gear is in transition? But you know what they do? They tend to stop the old wheels from dragging muck and shite up on the underside of the airplane.
It's not
Do you know
the
what I mean?
plane, it's the pilot.
Hello there.
Not the plane, it's the pilot. Yes. Now, that Victor 147 changed me frequencies, and now we need to turn this little devil. He'll pick him up here now in a jiffy, I'd say. What's our course? 144. 137. 137. We're climbing nice and easy now. Ziki, thank you very much indeed. Or Zilki, beg your pardon. Thank you very much indeed for the follow. Alright, 137 until we intercept it. Now we do have the Albany, so we can still use an outbound on the Albany of 144, so let's pop that little devil back. There's the Albany. We want to be heading away from that. So when this guy lines up, it's going to be a right turn. Then we'll tune to the next VOR station. So we're climbing up to 10,000. We had our instruction. We're going to join the Victor 146 airway. Right turn coming in here now in a moment. Yeah, Malky, I got that completely wrong. I did that before. I did that on Skeptic Canton. She told me to turn left one day and I turned right. But sure, listen lads, I do the stupid things so you don't have to. Do you know what I mean? Alrighty, this is our 147, I would say. Right turn coming in. The Victor 146 airway, we're slightly off it. Oh, now. In you go, you big Jesse. We're slightly off it. Now we can probably go nav mode. There we go, 7.4 miles out. Perfecto. Right turn, go ahead, bring this guy in a little bit closer. Now our next VOR after that is going to be the Harvard 114.9. 114.9 is going to come in over here, and it's going to be 114.9er. Get that guy ready. Approach is on at the moment. After that, it's going to be over to Boston Control 134.7. Let's tee him up in there. And Boston ATIS is going to be 1350. Com 2 1350.
So 235 Romeo Mike, contact Boston's at now 134.7, was it?
Over to Boston on 134.7, 5 Romeo Mike. Thanks so much. Boston Center, November 235 Romeo Mike, passing 9,000 for 10,000.
Number 235, Romeo Mike, Boston Center, climb and maintain 15,000 around the altimeter 3016.
Climb and maintain 150,015 and the altimeter 3016, November 235, Romeo Mike.
United 2195, cleared direct DOSEB.
Direct DOSEB, correction, 2195, thanks.
Alright, climber up.
United 2195, cross DOSEB at or above
So Boston
3005.
approach is going to be
Cleared to
1330.
straight at RNAV 15 approach, Bradley.
At above 3,500 at DOSEB and clear for the RNAV 152195.
Okay, so we're getting closer. We're 34 miles out from, whatchamacallit, the VOR station, right? We're fairly bang on. We're slightly left of it. I'm just trying to counter for the wind, that's all. Murph meant to buy a Tesla, he bought a Skoda. Now that's something proper he would do. Right, what? You can't see me following in observer mode. Oh, good man. Great way to do it, Kazaki. Great way to do it. Pilot skill, yeah. Thanks, Naughty, yeah. Jesus. Right. We're slightly off, so we got to be careful here with the wind, yeah? So we need to go slightly right, I'd say. There we are. That'll tighten things up. So we're climbing up to 150. What's the onboard temperature? That's looking good. Make sure we have pressure. We're all right. And, well, at this stage, leave all my lights on. I'm not worried about that. Fuel pump is grand. Inertial separator, you will go off. And then we're going to horse you into 850 mode. You're up, you devil, you. Let's go ahead and bounce some power in here. We can over torque once 850 mode is in. We'll go with 110. That'll pick up our speed. And because I have it in IAS mode, it should increase our rate of climb. We're heading up to our final cruise altitude.
724, cleared direct D-Babe.
150 or 15,000 feet.
Direct D-Babe, 724.
So we have the 1151 dialed in. The next VOR after that is going to be 114.9. And then if I listen to COM 2, that's going to be the Boston... That's going to be the Boston ATIS, but we're far out, man, to listen to that. So what's the Boston ATIS? 1350?
To contact. You have information India.
We're picking it up already, that's good.
Boston Logan Airport ATIS information India. 1954 Zulu. Wind 250 at 19er. Visibility 10. Few clouds at 25,000. Temperature 23. 2.2. Altimeter 3011. ILS runway 22 left approach in use. Departing runway 22 right. Runway 27 is approved for turnoff after landing. All aircraft reach all hold short instructions and assigned altitude. Numerous construction cranes in Boston area.
Alright. So you hear that crackling? That's when we're able to do that. It's based on your distance. So they actually add in all those effects. That's why like it's right. And if you notice on some of your radios, you have this. It's called squelch. In real world aircraft, you can in any radio you can increase the squelch. Basically, it's a looser way of trying to target the actual frequency. It's very interesting. Aviator Apollo. So I'm using the what are they called? The FD sound pack for the TBM. They are Chef Kiss. So 15,000 feet. We're in TBM mode. As soon as we get here, we're going to start leveling off. There's a level. Altimeter is correct. This speed, she's going to absolutely rocket along now. So we are 26.6 miles outbound, or inbound, sorry, to the VOR. So we continue on at the moment. How are we getting on so far, lads? All is well? Yes, no? Are we doing good? I got some VATSIM gadget on this. There we go. So Naughty Gnome is behind me. He hasn't joined this Victor airway yet, but he's in a jet, so he's going to be flying a slightly different route. Slightly different, yeah? Drummer, good to see you, mate. Very happy Monday, lads. Hope you're having a good old day. Hope this is interesting to you. I mean, look at
Boston Center, hello, Firefly 301. Firefly 301, Boston Center, hello. Say current altitude and assigned altitude. And altitude 5,000, assigned 10,000.
You have the Dukes?
Firefly 301, thanks. Climb and maintain, flight level 270.
I maintain flight level 270 for Firefly 301.
Thanks, Gibbo. Brilliant. Like, imagine you come home from work on a Monday after work or school.
5 Kilo Mike, we're gonna hop a left here off on Charlie.
5 Kilo Mike, Alpha to the ramp. Have a good day. Are you flying the citation in?
And here's Murphy throwing more learning at you.
Alright, Alpha to the ramp. And yeah, dude, citation's great. Not 5 Kilo Mike.
It does look blooming lovely though, doesn't it? Look at the state of that, lads. His hands are too small. Shag off.
United 229, just start your descent. New York approach, correction, New York Center is closed. Frequency change approved.
Start descent, frequency change approved. United 229, good day.
Nice, cabin. Alrighty. So, distance? 16.5 miles?
And Boston Center, gave American 1185 with you, 12000.
With you!
American 1185, Boston Center, climb and maintain, flight level 380.
Flight 380, American 1185.
Tail, we're doing 297 over the ground. This is impressive. Okay, so the next course after this should be roughly 168 degrees. All right. We're slightly off. You don't want to deviate too much on that to start giving out to you, but we'll be all right. We'll fix on the next turn. So 11 miles out from this VOR, then we're going to the next VOR. Very pretty up here. Cracker of a day over the Boston area, isn't it? 19 degrees inside our cabin. I can never decide the TBM 850 or PC-12. Sky Vagrant, for me, TBM. PC-12 was very good. The TBM is just... This is excellent. Do like the PC-12, but I prefer the avionics in this. Hope you're well, mate. Don't forget, lads, if you do enjoy this sort of content, I'd be very, very grateful if you wouldn't mind pressing the thumbs up button on YouTube. It helps out the channel an awful lot because it recommends it to other innocent people, and then they realise, Jesus. Brilliant. Right. Fantastic. Right. We are 7.5 miles out. At our cruise altitude, we're just plodding along. This is where you'd want to be listening into your old XM radio, you know, for the tunes, but sure, listen, grand. Stu, not necessarily.
United 2195, Romeo 15, quarter land.
2195, we're going around.
Oh, go around.
United 2195, fly Romeo heading, climb and maintain 3000.
Romeo heading, climb and maintain 3000, 2195, sorry.
There's a missed approach. You don't always have to fly on live time or the weather. With the weather, you want to keep the winds in the right direction, but most importantly, it's your barrow. You want to keep this thing exactly the same, because that'll upset your altitudes, yeah? So we got a right turn coming in here very shortly. We're going to get our GPS saying, hey, you need to change your course. We already know roughly what it's going to be. I reckon 168. So we can start dialing in 168, right? And we're going to put in the next nav frequency. 114.9, that's bang on there now. She hasn't detected it yet. See the way I'm not getting any mileage information? That's okay.
JetBlue 417, cross Calvert, 10 at 2000, the Kennedy altimeter 3025.
Watching this divil here.
Calvert at 2000, JetBlue 417.
That's looking good. That's looking good. Speed is good.
United 2195, turn right, heading 240.
Right, 240, United 2195.
So we're just waiting to pick up the VOR. Now, we could do an outbound on the last one.
Delta 725, New York Center is closed, frequency change approved.
So see the flag is now behind us?
Delta 724, New York is closed, frequency change approved.
Back to the darts. Thanks for your ATC. We'll see y'all next time. Delta 724.
Good day.
No, live time is not required. You can fly day or night, but you need to track what live time is. If you have a release, as in they tell you to off the chocks at 2120 Zulu, that's the actual real time. But you can fly in daytime or nighttime. Alice Shin, good to see you. Captain Mustard, good evening. Live weather, it's not necessarily required. Lads, it's not. For live weather, it's recommended you're using live weather. Just make sure that you have the wind information. So for example, if the winds are coming in from 060 degrees and like 50 knots, you just make sure you have 060 degrees in there. You can play around with the speed, yeah? When it comes to the altimeter settings, you must have those then.
United 2195, turn right, heading 310, descend and maintain 3000.
Right 310, descend, maintain 3000, United 2195.
Boston Center, Canada 604 with you.
Here we go. So we're tracking the next waypoint.
Air Canada 604, Boston Center, common maintain flight level 200.
Canada maintain 200, Canada 604.
Air Canada 604, what's your current altitude and assigned, or what was your previous assigned altitude?
Just want to get this guy lined up here, yeah? Wind pressure and temps required, everything else can be whatever.
What is your current altitude?
My current altitude now is 10,000.
Thank you.
Good evening, R4. Good to see you, mate. Welcome aboard.
United 2195, expect the RNAV 15 approach.
They'll be
expect the RNAV 15 again, 2195, sorry.
You know, you see, it's, if you fly on, like I've often flown choppers when real world conditions was IFR, I went VFR. Like that's the advantages of VATSIM, you know what I mean? Okay, our next VOR after this is going to be Norwich 110. And we already have Boston approach dialed in, 1330. We're currently on centre, and we already got a quick listen to the ATIS. So at the moment, lads, we're doing tickety-boo. Now, when it came to our altitudes, remember, it wanted us to be at a particular altitude when we were getting at WOONS. So let's bring up this guy over here. Come on, Navigraph, you can do it. So at WOONS, it's going to expect 7,000 feet. At Norwich, we're going to expect 110 or 11,000 feet. Yeah? So we want to be playing that. So when we get to Norwich, we're going to be expecting to descend down to about 11,000. Then when we get up to WOONS, we're going to be expecting about 7,000. Then they're going to vector us in, right? Now, we can also cheat here. We're going to have a look at the approach into Boston. We know runway 22 left is active. Let's go ahead and grab the ILS frequencies. So the localizer is going to be 110.3. ILS 110.3, right?
United 2195, flooding 330.
Final course will be 215.
2195.
And decision height is going to be 216. And then I was planning, when we land on 22 left, which is over here, we're going to plan to probably jump off here at Foxtrot. If we can make the first runway, we're laughing. But we're going to plan on Foxtrot. And then we'll pick up the ATIS before we get onto the approach controller. Alright. Right, Murph, tidy that up. You're going the wrong way now. We're dealing with 25 knots of wind. That's why it's kind of throwing us off skew a little bit. But we'll fix that. We're 21 miles out. Finally got yourself a short sky van. Nice one, Mutt Dog. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. They were actually invented by the Irish, yeah. Ireland in the Eurovision this week. Alan Mead, good to see you.
Testing 04, do you know if it's possible to
I have a question with you. Fly with the verbal joystick. What do you think?
Left at New York?
So what I have, R4, I have the Warbird
Kennedy
base.
604, I don't show air traffic control on for Kennedy, so you can shoot whatever approach you would like.
And I have the Constellation Alpha stick.
Roger, thank you.
It is the best bit of kit I've flown with. For a joystick, the best bit of kit. You will not be upset. Gibbo Ireland has the very same, like they're brilliant. The Warbird base and the VPC Constellation Alpha, it's only brilliant. Easy now, Murphy.
Triplet 417, New York approach is closed. Frequency change approved.
Over team account, jet to 417, have a good day.
Okay, so our next nav station we're saying is 110. That is the Norwich VOR. After that, it's going to be Boston on 1227. So far we're good, right? Let's bring up our map here. Let's see what's happening in the world around us. So we're currently coming down from the Chester VOR. We're heading to the Hartford VOR. Then it's going to be a left turn heading 115 degrees. But there is a gap in here. We're going to have to stay
United 2195, turn right heading 060.
115.
Right, 060, United 2195.
And then we'll swap over to the inbound. I don't know what that's going to be, but we'll head on the inbound, and then we're heading up to WOONS. Dewitt, Frosty, Hefty, WOONS, and then we're going to get Vectors, lads. He's going to probably bring us up the west side, and then in from the north. Alright? Everything else here, if there's too much clutter on your map, try not to worry about it. Where is Naughty after going? He's disappeared completely. Oh no, there he is. So Naughty Gnome is behind me. He's on the same airway. He's doing 341, but look at his altitude. He's up on 28,000 feet. We're way down lower at 15. We're slower moving. Do you know what I mean? Right. Remember in VOR, she's not going to track the heading for you. You have to manually dial that in. Now I could easily put this into GPS mode. Take it off our VLOC. Where's the fun in that, right? It would. Nav mode would keep you tracking, but I want to be using heading more often. I mean, this is where you start learning things, and you can deviate, 2-3 miles, but nothing
United
more.
2195, you're 6 miles for Breen, flighting 130. Maintain 3000 until you're established on the final approach course. Cleared RNF 15 approach.
Right 130, 3000 to establish, cleared for the approach, 15, United 2195.
Alright, we put it in the decision height of 210. That's when we're landing. So the next course we want on our VOR is going to be all the way over on... what is it going to be, lads? It's not going to be 115 degrees. It is going to be 115. It's going to be a left turn. 115. There should be. GPS. Set course 174.
Okay, 2195, you can maintain 2,500 until you're established.
2195, maintain 2,500 until established.
189, 190. Yes, it's going to go all the way over. Keep returning, baby. Keep returning. Can you go a little bit? So I want to intercept that.
Firefly 301, descend and maintain for level 230.
Oh, do you know who's getting a descent?
And to maintain flight level 230 for Firefly 301.
Dougal McTavish, good to see you, my guy. Hope you're well.
Air Canada 604 in the flight levels, verify altimeter 29902.
29902, Air Canada 604.
She was doing her damnedest.
Center, hello again. Citation 525, Kilo Mike, Martha's Vineyard, Lake VFR flight following over to Boston.
Boston. Some flight following. Nice. Okay, let's do
Citation 525, Kilo Mike, runway 24, taxi via Alpha, cross runway 33.
20 miles out.
24, cross via Alpha, cross runway 33 on Alpha for 525, Kilo Mike.
$115 is what I want. I just want to intercept this little radial here now as we kind of dive into it. It's a 115 radial, so that's going to close in. Then we'll turn our heading to intercept. Just at Vectors Copenhagen. It was fun. Brilliant, brilliant. Good man yourself. What were you flying, Dougal? So let these guys align. You're in the 320. Nice. Was it busy?
United 2195, runway 15, clear to land.
Runway 15, clear to land, final time 2195.
All right, sorry, a bit of a left turn here.
American 1185, cross Dunny at flight level 200.
Cross Dunny at 200, American 1185.
So we're heading to the Norwich VOR, and remember we're expecting 11,000, expecting it after that, yeah? Oh yeah, DC-6, man. Oh, what an awesome airplane. Awesome airplane. Speed is looking good as well, 15,000 feet. So far is good. Aircraft is behaving well. We're going to get a bit of instruction now from ATC.
November 235, Romeo Mike, cross Jewett at 1000 with Providence, altimeter 3019.
Cross Jewett at 11,000 and altimeter is 3019er for November 235 Romeo Mike.
Boston Center today is Delta 215 with the flight level 370 about 37 miles west of the Hank VOR.
Delta 215 Boston Center, radar contact position as reported. Maintain flight level 370.
Maintain 370 at 215.
Firefly 301, descend and maintain 17,000, Providence, altimeter 3019er.
Descend and maintain 17,000, Providence, altimeter 3019er.
Citation 5, Kilo Mike, flight following squawk 4777. On course approved, runway 24, clear for takeoff.
4777 for the squawk, and on departure, on course is approved. Runway 24, clear for takeoff.
So what I'm going to do here, lads, right? If I look at my flight plan,
Speedbird
after the
291,
VORs,
cross
I'm going to go nav
level
mode,
360.
which is going to be our GPS. So that's going to be nav mode. It'll capture GPS, and we'll be flying over to Jewett. Yeah.
Sorry, say again the call sign. Sorry, waypoint to 291.
Kiever, Kilo Echo Alpha Victor Romeo, flight level 360.
Cross Kiva at flight level 360, speedbird 291.
New York Canada 604, New York approach and center are closed, frequency change approved.
Alright, nav mode in.
Change approved, Arkansas 604, thank you for your service.
Left turn, and we need to descend now. Arm 11,000. We're going to drop. No. Arm 11,000.
United 2195, zero to the ramp today.
And bring our
Zero
speed
to the
back.
RAM 2195, thanks for the help, yeah.
Okay, so we've brought our torque back. We can reopen that inertial separator. Keep an eye out for an over torque. We're going to descend here now. Watch your speed. We need to be down at 11,000 at Jewett.
Flight 301, flighting 080, descend and maintain 11,000.
And heading 080 and down to 11,000, 11,000. 45 flight
Mr.
301.
GPHI, they're awesome. Master caution for the inertial separator. That's okay. 3019er. And we're heading down to 11,000. So far so good. Now with the GTN, you have all sort of like descent calculators here, right? Descent altitude or density altitude, VNAV profile if you want.
Citation 5 Kilo Mike, greater contact, say altitude.
Passing 1,500 for 5 Kilo Mike.
5 Kilo Mike, thanks. The Cape altimeter 3024, more than 1 hour old.
This is doing it automatically.
024, 5 Kilo Mike, thank you.
So we can actually calm down the rate of this descent. Call it 16,000. We don't want to go too slow for them. You can see where all this is in. Your VNAV profile, like the GTN 750, I love the one from PM. It's very, very good. Look, you can see it here as well. See this line? Yeah? Well, that's going to tell us when we hit that altitude.
Firefly 301, connect Boston approach 133.0.
133.0 for Firefly 301. Thanks for your service.
So I'm going to just...
November 235, Romeo Mike, cross WOONS at 7,000, the Boston altimeter 3011.
Cross WOONS at 7,000, altimeter 3011, November 235, Romeo Mike. Alrighty. WOONS is next. Flight plan, WOONS 7,000. There's 11,000. 11,000. What's your speed?
Boston Center, United 2630, flight level 205. United 2630, Boston Center, your radar contact. Climb and maintain, flight level 210. That will be your final.
We'll put in our Boston VOR in case we need it.
Climb and
1127.
maintain, flight level 210 for final. United 2630.
We're at Jewett, 11,000.
United 2630, cleared direct Roebuck. Cleared direct Roebuck, United 2630.
Alright, we're heading to WOONS. Based on our distance, that's what it's giving us. We're 5 minutes out. It's telling us, well, we could probably give it 800 feet a minute. So we're going to go down to 7,000. Arm. And let this little fella kind of pick up a little bit. Firefly jumping ahead of us. Yep. We're 10 miles out. So let's do a descent profile of 800 feet a minute. Because he wants us at 7,000 at WOONS. The right altimeter. What's your speed as we're doing this? Let's just double check everything. So lights are on. We're staying ahead of the aircraft. We're currently on with Boston Center. We will be going on to approach. Then we'll be dialing in the other guys. We'll use this moment now. Get the ATIS.
Left approach in use. Departing runway 22 right. Runway 27 is approved for turnoff after landing. All aircraft read may call hold short instructions and decide altitudes. Numerous construction cranes in Boston area and in vicinity of Logan Airport. Advise on initial contact. You have information India.
Information India is current. Hey, Two Cats is here. Good to see you, my guy. Hope you're keeping very well. Alright. We've a while to go yet. We want to be down to 7,000 once we get to WOONS. Top of drop is over there. We're okay. We're descending nicely. So far, so good, lads. Now, here's how we stay ahead of the aircraft. Because we're going to get vectored, make sure that your heading indicator is now pointing where you're facing, because they're going to give you a heading, a course, and we're going to turn either left or right into that course. All the while, I'm keeping my VOR active for the Boston VOR if I need it. Yeah? So the Boston VOR is 112.7. Let's jump that across there now.
Traffic is Whiskey, Carnet, Albany, the Albany altimeter 3010.
So that's pointing towards the Boston VOR. So I know roughly what I'm doing and where I'm going, yeah? Now GPS, arrival waypoint.
November 235, Romeo Mike, contact Boston approach 133.0.
Over to approach 133.0 for November 235, Romeo Mike. Now the next one after this, Boston ground is 1219er. So we'll stay with approach. Boston approach, good afternoon. November 235 Romeo Mike, passing 9,000 for 7,000, overhead Fosty waypoint.
November 235 Romeo Mike, Boston approach, good afternoon. Boston altimeter 3011, information Juliet just became current, and the actual altimeter 3009er. I expect the ILS runway 22 left approach.
We'll expect the ILS 22 left approach, altimeter 3009er, and we'll go off and double check on Juliet for 5 Romeo Mike. Speed is good. Altitude is coming down.
Correct. You have information, Juliet. Boston Logan Airport ATIS information, Juliet.
The other left.
2054 Zulu. Wind 260 at 16 gust 28. Visibility 10. 25,000 scattered. Temperature 23.
Beautiful, the weather.
2.3. Altimeter 3009er. ILS runway 22 left approach in use. Departing runway 22 right. Runway 27 is approved for turnoff
Right,
for
good
landing.
afternoon, citation 525,
All aircraft
8,500, flight following in a Logan. We're looking for citation traffic.
Citation 525 Kilo Mike Boston, approach, hello, altimeter 3009, expect to runway 22 left.
Looks like 22 left, we have information India on board, 5 Kilo Mike.
Citation 5 Kilo Mike traffic, you will be at your approximately 10 o'clock and 17 miles, a eastbound, citation of 8,000.
Alright, we'll keep an eye out, 5 Kilo Mike.
Citation 525 Kilo Mike cleared into the Boston Class Bravo airspace, maintain VFR out of below 6,000 till advised.
Okay, we're
Alright, clear to the
we're
Bravo.
expecting vectors now.
We'll maintain VFR out of below 6,000 till further notice, 5 Kilo Mike.
We'll go heading mode. We're now at WOONS, so we're expecting vectors. So we'll continue to fly on our current heading. This is the WOONS waypoint. We didn't get a hold. We're expecting the 22 left approach. We're going to be vectored after this, so we sit tight.
Citation 525 Kilo Mike, traffic at your 10 o'clock and 11 miles. Do you have the traffic in sight?
Do not have that traffic in sight yet, 5 Kilo Mike.
Citation 525 Kilo Mike, roger. Firefly 301 traffic at your 2 o'clock and 10 miles. Northbound citation at 7,500, descending 6,000.
Yeah, if it gets mad busy, we might have to enter a hold.
Firefly 301. Firefly 301, maintain visual separation from the citation. Maintain visual separation for Firefly 301.
Alright, let's have a look at the ILS. Runway 22 left. If things go wrong, missed approach. Climb to 3,000 feet, outbound on the Boston VOR. We have that dialed in on its 219er radial over to Winnie.
Citation 5 Kilo Mike, we have visual on that traffic.
Alright.
Citation 525 Kilo Mike, maintain visual separation from the citation. Join a left downwind, runway 22 left.
He's getting
we'll
a visual.
maintain visual separation. We'll enter a left downwind for 22 left, 5 Kilo Mike.
Alright, so far so good. The ILS is going to be 110.3. We can go ahead and dial that one in. So far so good. Speed is good, altitude holding. Doing this in GA aircraft while also streaming and teaching is insane.
Firefly 301, say intentions.
He wants to go for the pint.
We're just maintaining visual separation from the other aircraft as requested. Right, Firefly 301, roger. When able, turn right heading 060, descend and maintain 8,000. Turn right, 060 and down 6,000 for Firefly 301.
Let's see what happens. Have we even entered the Class Bravo? We have. Not yet. We haven't entered it yet. That's why we're just trekking in, slowly but surely. Keeping the speed manageable. He hasn't told me to speed up or slow down. 3009, information Juliet is on board, so we'll listen out.
GBM 235 Romeo Mike, turn left heading 040 vectors for the ILS runway 22 left approach.
Turn left heading 040 vectors for the ILS 22 left approach for 5 Romeo Mike. Zero 40. We're in heading mode. We're good. Things that give me the fear most flying an airliner and VATSIM. I fly plenty of props. Yeah, so like where it gets a little bit more confusing, lads, it's when you're flying the airliners, because you need to be comfortable with that aircraft. You need to know when you press a button, it's going to do exactly what you expect it to do. And that's what catches an awful lot of people out. You'd be surprised. they think the straightforward flying is easy, but then all of a sudden, how do I do this, right? So it all comes down to being in an aircraft you are very comfortable with, yeah? Now we got the VOR there for Boston. I'm going to transfer these across because I want to keep an eye on the localizer, right? We'll probably get a visual, but...
Citation 525 Kilo Mike, maintain DFR at 6,000 until advised.
You're used to the avionics on King Airs, yeah, 100%.
United 1520 Boston departure, good afternoon. Wind at 25016, gust 28, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
So we have traffic over there
22 right, United 1820.
Like, that's what's so awesome about this. I mean, learning to fly an airplane, I mean, that's up to you, right? I mean, pick your favorite aircraft and spend time learning it. And what I mean by that is you hand fly it, you get used to the avionics, if it has an autopilot, and you set things up that it's almost muscle memory now when you go to, like, you know, turn a dial or change a setting or do any of that stuff. The ATC part of it,
Boston approach, United 2630 at flight level 194.
It might seem very kind of overwhelming. It follows a very kind of particular pattern most of the time. Do you know what I mean? And like the beauty about all of this...
2630 Boston approach, good afternoon. Boston altimeter 3009er, expect the ILS 22 left approach.
What's the awesome thing about this, because it's on the WINGS course, right? The Boston ARTCC virtual
approach.
course.
Altimeter is 30.09er.
You can redo these flights
United 2630.
as often as you like. You can keep practicing these flights, and you keep practicing.
Fly 301, turn left heading 360, descend and maintain at 6,000.
And left heading 360, and we're already at 6,000 for Firefly 301.
There's Boston. Look at that.
Firefly 301, roger, thank you.
There's a new scenery pack out from Samsung, and it's for Boston. It's like $10 or whatever.
Citation 525 Kilo Mike, altitude, your discretion.
Altitude, my discretion, 5 Kilo Mike, we have visual on the field.
Citation 525 Kilo Mike, roger.
Looks stunning, doesn't it?
Number 235 Romeo Mike, turn left heading 030.
Left heading 030, 5 Romeo Mike. Alright.
Yeah, the 1820 radar contact. Altitude indicates 1,800. Climb and maintain 4,000.
What do you think?
I'd say 4,000 on checks in 1820.
Good man, Kozaki. Gibbo, we're going to be landing there in a few
climb
weeks.
into 14,000.
And Muse.
I'll go 4,000 at 1820.
It's a beautiful part of the world to fly, but when you have controllers, like the controllers at the Boston Virtual guys, like it's a joy, lads. And with WINGS, don't be afraid if you make a mistake. They're patient. You know what I mean?
For 5 Kilo Mike, would you like us to maintain this?
How are we getting down to Providence? I don't know.
525 Kilo
I don't think I
Mike.
need a car.
Cleared visual approach runway 22 left.
I mean,
Cleared approach 22 left, 5 Kilo Mike.
I was thinking I was going to get a car, but like we might just get the train. Yeah, we might just get the train because we're in a city, like, and everything's in walking distance. So you rent a car, it's going to sit in the freaking car park. Yeah, I think so. Like a car's going to cost probably what, $300? What's an Uber going to cost? Maybe 150. Drummer's doing the train. Yeah, we might just get the train. If we get the train, it means we could drink pints. Right. Probably too far for an Uber. No, you can get a train, then an Uber.
Number 235 Romeo Mike, descend and maintain 3,000.
Descend and maintain 3,000, 5 Romeo Mike. Descending. What's the speed? I swear I ran into Bono at security line connecting flights back in 2012. No way. Sky Hunter, 100%, man. No, yeah, get the Uber. Yeah, pints and hot dogs. That's what I want to do. Like, if we don't need a car, I'll check. But at the moment, I don't think. I thought I needed a car, but at the moment, I don't think I need the car.
235 Romeo Mike, turn left heading at 025.
Left heading 025, 5 Romeo Mike. All he's trying to do is give us a bit of space now from those guys arriving in. They're over here somewhere now, and they're heading into the airport just back here behind us, look.
Firefly 301, descend and maintain 4,000.
Enter 4,000.
Can we park the car? Yes,
Firefly
you can.
301.
Couldn't get a direct flight to Providence. You're having to do a connect. Where are you connecting from, Scott? Boston, I suppose. What day is that going to be, Scott? Thursday. Train's your best bet. Taking the train from Philly, 80 bucks. Yeah, that's not bad, man. Jeez, it's from Philadelphia, 80 bucks. We'll need to sort out trains. Yeah. No, he's flying in Thursday as well.
525 Kilo Mike, runway 22 left, clear to land.
22 left, clear to land, 5 Kilo Mike.
Yeah, I suppose, like, 'tis all... I think the train would just be handier, do you know what I mean? Unless we need a car. If we need a car, I'll get a car, but, like, I don't think I need a car. Yeah, no? 1,000 feet to go, descending to maintain 3,000.
Number 235 Romeo Mike, turn right heading 130, descend and maintain 2,000.
Right heading 130, descend to 2,000, 5 Romeo Mike. Right turn coming in, bring the speed back.
301, turn left heading 310.
Flight simulator, welcome in.
Left to 310.
It's a 35-minute ride.
For
And a coach seat for only 10 bucks.
1.
What? It's only $10 for the train. Ah, Jesus. So we can have a whole rake of pints for that. Dan, good to see you. He ordered an Horizon 7.
235 Romeo Mike, you're 3 miles from Vocus, turn right heading 190, maintain 2,000 till established, cleared ILS runway 22 left approach.
Turn right heading 190 and until established, cleared for the ILS runway 22 left approach for 5 Romeo Mike.
235 Romeo Mike, verify you're going to maintain 2,000 till established.
Roger, we will maintain 2,000 feet until established. 5 Romeo Mike.
Woodchuck.
Number 525 Kilo Mike, wind 25016, gust 28.
Boston approach, American 461, good day, with you holding short 22 right.
Ryan 461 Boston departure, good evening, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff, wind 25016, gust 28.
22 right, clear for takeoff, American 461.
215, lock her in there, Murph.
Yeah, 1820, leaving my airspace, Boston Center is closing up, radar service terminated, frequency change approved.
Show 73 change approved, United 1820 CL.
Alright, next radio frequency is going to be Boston Ground 121.9er, that's keyed in. And we're almost fully established.
Flight 301, you are 3 miles from Wayne, turn left heading 250, descend and maintain 2,000 until established, cleared ILS runway 22 left approach.
Lights are on.
Turn left to 250 for Firefly 301, descend and maintain 2,000 till established on the ILS for 22 left.
Northland there, good to see you. Alright, watch your speed, we are fully established.
Kilo Mike off Foxtrot.
Citation 525 Kilo Mike, roger, continue Foxtrot, hold short runway 22 right and say parking.
Foxtrot, go to 22 right, go to signature this evening for 5 Kilo Mike.
Oh, we're going to signature too. Alright, watch your speed. We're not cleared yet. If this goes wrong.
25 Kilo Mike, roger.
This goes wrong. We got to climb to 3,000.
235 Romeo Mike, wind 25016, gust 28, runway 22 left, clear to land.
Clear to land, 22 left, 5 Romeo Mike. Gear down, yaw dampener off, flaps coming down.
Very good afternoon, still to 215, ready 16,000 feet to descending on the J-Line 2.
It's gusty, man, it's gusty.
Still 215 Boston approach, good evening. Boston
Beautiful views.
3009er, information Juliet current, expect the ILS runway 22 left approach.
Look at the freaking crab on
ILS
that.
22 left approach, altimeter 3009 will be Juliet, Delta 215.
Look at the crab on that.
525 kilo Mike, runway, cross runway 22 right, contact ground point 9er.
Cross 22 right, ground point 9er, 525.
Marty, this is Watson, mate.
Upon 135 at Boston departure, runway 22 right, line up and wait, traffic crosses downfield.
22 right, line up and wait, only upon 135 heavy.
American 461, radar contact, altitude indicates 2,200 feet, climb maintain 14,000.
14,000, American 461.
We got some traffic ahead of us. Easy now, Jemima.
Firefly 301, wind 25016, gust 28, runway 22 left, clear to land number 2, following a TBM on a 2-mile final.
Autopilot off, my airplane.
Clear to land number 2 for Firefly 301.
We'll hardly get off at 33 right. We'll see, we'll see. Easy now. Easy now. Toadad, welcome in, man. Thanks for the follow. Come fly a JAX. Where's JAX? Watch your speed, Murph. 500. Easy now. Oh, Jesus, lads, the wind is savage.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus, look at the wind. Savage. Look at the man over in 22 right departing. Deadly. Oh, Jacksonville. Nice, man. Watch your speed, Murph. Easy now. Easy now. Decision 9.
Boston Tower, New England 1 Heavy. We're holding 15 left. We were given instruction to taxi across, but we're trying to sort an engine issue on number 1. We're wondering if we can take 15 left to Mike.
Easy.
New England 1.
Hello there.
Request maybe hold position. I got traffic departing runway 22 right.
Understand. We'll hold for traffic. New England 1 Heavy.
Easy now.
Upon 135 heavy, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
2 right, clear for takeoff, only upon 135 heavy.
Mind the wind.
Firefly 301, caution turbulence. Heavy Airbus A350 departs the parallel runway.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Caution wake turbulence for Firefly 301.
Easy now. What the hell is windy? Flaps in. Small bit of power. And we can vacate onto Foxtrot. That's what we were aiming for. Is it? Isn't it? Is it? Isn't it? And is it? Looks like Foxtrot.
Route 235, Romeo Mike, continue Foxtrot, hold short runway 22 right and say parking.
Taxi Foxtrot, hold short 22 right, and we'll be looking for the FBO at signature for 5 Romeo Mike.
Route 235, Romeo Mike, roger. New England 1, taxi to, you can head over to Mike via runway 15 left, cross runway 22 right.
15 left, right on 15 left, then left on Mike. We'll cross 22 right, New England 1 Heavy.
He didn't give me further clearance there, sure he didn't?
On the pond 135, heavy radar contact. Altitude indicates 1,000 to 600 feet. Climb and maintain 14,000.
Going 14,000, only upon 135 heavy.
I don't think he did. Should we sit tight and see? We didn't get ground though. And November 235 runway Mike. Just confirm we're holding short runway 22 right.
235 runway Mike, Roger. You can cross runway 22 right, contact ground point 9.
Cross runway 2 right over the ground. Thanks so much for 5 Romeo Mike. Boston ground, 5 Romeo Mike. We are passing runway 22 right, looking to taxi over to signature. At Foxtrot, you should have said. 122-9er? Pause, it's 1219er. Wait now. Boston ground, November 235 Romeo Mike. We're on Foxtrot, just crossed 22 right. We're looking to taxi over to Signature at the FBO.
Number 235 Romeo Mike, Boston ground, welcome, taxi to Signature via Foxtrot Alpha.
Taxi to Signature via Foxtrot Alpha for 5 Romeo Mike. Alright.
Delta 1098, heavy cross runway 15 left, monitor Boston approach 133.0, have a good day.
Beautiful.
Cross runway 15 left, then monitor approach 133.0, Delta 1098 heavy, we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Tower controls the space between runways, yeah. Most places you don't get switched to ground until all clear on the active. Makes sense. What's your speed now, Murph? We're looking good. It's nice to get vectors, isn't it? Like a star is grand. I mean, you just follow it and they'll tell you, you know, work away. You go through all your different stop climbs or stop descents. And a lot of the time it's just going to follow your FMS for that. But when you have vectors involved, and it gives you a real sense of, you know, immersion, because there's so many things happening. You're constantly on your toes. You're waiting for different instructions. Do you know what I mean? It's awesome though. It's a lot of fun. Cabin temperature 19 degrees still. We kept it well. I love it because it forces me to pay attention. Yeah. 100%, man. 100%. Easy now. Here's the American hangar, and we have Signature just down the road here. Beautiful. Inside hub, exclamation point specs, give it the specs. Aaron, good to see you, man. What texture pack do you have for the runway? These are default, man. So I use reshade.
Boston ground, hello, Firefly 301 at Foxtrot, looking for taxiing to Signature, please.
Naughty Gnome, get in.
Firefly 301 Boston ground, welcome, taxi to Signature via Foxtrot Alpha.
Taxi to Signature via Foxtrot and Alpha for Firefly 301.
Air Force 1 is over Dublin.
Number 235 Romeo Mike, congrats, passing WINGS IFR 5.
Thank you very much indeed for November 235 Romeo Mike. Great effort tonight. Really appreciated all the ATC.
Always good to see you.
Sweet! Brilliant. Alright, here's Signature. And we'll just dive into parking over here. Let's pretend there's an old marshaller there or something. Hanging on the left. Alright. On the brakes. Brakes on. Taxi off. Strobes off. Transponder standby. Inertial separator. Pitos can come off. That's looking good there. Go ahead and cancel you guys. And we shall... Avionics coming off. Media master coming off. Go ahead and kill the bleeds. Air conditioning unit off. Fuel pump off. Put you back onto manual. That's looking good. Bring our power down. Double check all systems are coming off. Nav lights can stay on for the moment. That's looking good. Ignition goes to off. Fuel out. There's our power coming down. Go ahead, cancel. And we can close the inertial separator. And let her all calm down. Now we'll go in now and have a quick review of our flight, lads, just to make sure all went well. That's good, that looks good, that looks good, that looks good. All right, very nice, very nice. Starters off, ignition off, generators off, nav lights off, battery off, close the guard. Close the guard. Guard is closed. That's all off, that's all off. There's Naughty Gnome coming in. And yourself. Open the door. But man yourself, Naughty Gnome. Awesome flying, mate. And he took a jet as well, so we had two very different routes. That's freaking class, man, isn't it? Absolutely deadly. Right, get the aircraft. Nose baggage can go open up that. Get the wheel chocks in there. Pitot covers can be stuck on. Probably get the engine covers on here as well. Alright, that was really nice. I enjoyed that flight. There was a nice bit of workload. It was a beautiful route that we flew. And you're going to see what the crack is going to look like now when we go in and have a look at the, whatchamacallit. We'll go back and review the flight. I think I had Volanta on for this. I did. Alright. Let's review the flight. So there's probably a little bit of jiggery pokering, but that's how she looked, right? So we departed from Albany and we used the Albany 7 departure, and that flew us toward the Albany VOR, which was here. Then we headed outbound and we headed on to the next waypoint, I think was Chester. That was the Chester. You can see where we kind of zigzagging went. That was when the wind started to hit us, right? And that brought us down then towards the Hereford VOR. From there, or the Hartford VOR, sorry. From the Hartford VOR, then we got over to the Norwich VOR. And then we went up to WOONS. And that's where we started descending at WOONS. You can see that there, look. You can see where our descent profile was. So that's where we went from 150 down to 11, down to 7, and then down to 3. And to be fair to ATC, like, he gave us a beautiful entry there. Like, we had such a lovely view over the Boston City area. Like, it was absolutely incredible, wasn't it? It was incredible. Our landing rate, 68 feet a minute. We'll take that to the bank. And then when we taxied out of there, we were aiming for Foxtrot at the start of our flight. And I kind of knew that was going to be, like, we only touched down at this runway. Foxtrot is what I wanted. Worst case, it would have been Charlie. Not a big difference. So we rambled down here, Foxtrot onto Alpha, and we taxied Alpha all the way back into Signature. So in terms of what we saw following procedure, the radio telephony, or, you know, the voice procedure, that's pretty much kind of, that's what you can expect, right? You know, you can make mistakes. You can read back the wrong information. It can happen. I turned right instead of, well, I didn't. I said I was going to turn right instead of left, and I left out confirming I was going to be landing, or sorry, I was going to be holding 2,000 feet until I got established onto the localizer. Now, some of the things that we did during the flight, so we tuned into VOR frequencies. That's using our nav radios and telling the TBM to say, hey, follow the nav route, VLOC. So that's what gave us the direction to all of these different waypoints. And even though the weather was beautiful, we weren't looking outside the aircraft. We were not using any sort of visual reference point. We were flying instrument flight rules, which is great. Once we changed the VORs, I brought it back onto GPS navigation. Now, I didn't need to, right? I mean, the WOONS, for us to find the WOONS radial, right, all we need to do here is, so we'll have a look at this map here, right? Let's go to IFR. So if we're down here at the Norwich VOR, in order to find WOONS, well, all we need to do is fly the outbound, yeah? We fly the outbound of the Norwich VOR. It's probably hard to see it in that map. I wonder, can I just get, like, world map? Satellite? We can probably get this from the map. So if you'll get it from your sectionals. So see the outbound here. So this would have been, let me see, the 057 outbound, right? So here's the 057 radial. So we could have flown that, and we could have got a rough mileage to where WOONS is going to be, right? And we could have said, okay, listen, once we are, whatever, 10, 20, 28 miles out, that's when we're at WOONS. So we could have used the VOR to help us. But not only that, we then could have tuned into the Boston VOR. And that would have given us, you know what I mean, rather than going GPS. I was told at one point there was some traffic 1,000 feet below me and I reported in sight. He was flying VFR. Then I was told to maintain visual separation. He was crossing directly in front, so I turned to fly parallel. However, I was then told to say intentions, as I was like, I did what you said. What should I have done? As there was 1,000 feet separation, should I have just continued? So you did nothing wrong, right? The short answer there would be you need to maintain minimum 1,000 feet of separation. Because he was VOR, you don't know was he getting flight following or otherwise. So if it's 1,000 feet, that would be the minimum. What I would do, I would either climb or I would deviate my course, right? And all ATC wanted to know, they saw you turning and they're like, hey, what are you doing? I'm just maintaining separation with the previous aircraft. You did exactly right. I wouldn't have done anything different. Right? So I wouldn't have done that different. Not, you know, I'd have done the exact same thing. 1,000 feet, I'd have been all right. I probably would have climbed an extra 100 feet, right? Just to give me that little bit of a room. And depending on his speed and that. But if he's turning to cross you, get out of his way. Just to be sure, there's no issue. If you turn off course, just turn back on course. And if ATC are saying, hey, what are you doing? Say intentions. I am maintaining separation. Covered, thanks very much. And he kind of said that was okay. Like when he asked you, right? When you were saying, if he's telling you to maintain separation, if he was flying VFR, you were told to maintain visual separation. It's up to you to stay away. He was crossing directly in front, so I turned to fly parallel. You could turn behind him, yeah. So if he's going from right to left, you turn right. You could do that. You could do that. The citation was outbound. You're not supposed to move unless to miss a collision. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that though, Scott. Define missing a collision. Define how close you can get to another aircraft before the pilot flying says, I'm worried. I'm like, why take the risk? Why would you take the risk? Because it's written in a book and it's okay, I can fly this close to him? Hell no. I did on the very same. And if any controller gave out to me to say otherwise, I would give them a number to call. You're responsible for your aircraft. In the real world, if you see there's any sort of deviation or you think there's a risk, right? And if you're told to maintain separation, ATC are telling you, maintain your separation from that aircraft. Now, there was no immediate conflict. How do we know? Well, there was 1,000 feet clearance between you. All right? There was 1,000 feet clearance between you based on radar. Again, I could have climbed a little bit. I'd have thrown maybe 100 feet. That's just myself. You could turn to, you know, move away from the conflict. So I just wouldn't have an issue there at all. But when ATC chipped in a simple avoiding that VFR traffic, yeah, no, 100%. Like that is what it is, you know? And that goes for real world flying as well. What are they going to do? Like, okay, you shouldn't have deviated. Well, I was flying very close to a plane. And like, if that was a small plane and you're like, do you know, like, what if it was a big aircraft and, you know, you're worried about wakes and all this. So you didn't do anything wrong. There's going to be scenarios. There's going to be scenarios whereby your deviation may not be required because you already have the separation of 1,000 feet. And depending on where you're headed, right? For example, if you're moving between two waypoints, if you're descending, do you try and like you wouldn't maintain separation between a waypoint whilst descending? They would have vectored the other aircraft or they would have vectored you, more than likely, because it's very hard to see them unless you have ADS-B. Do you know what I mean? Like unless they appear on your radar. If you didn't have a visual on them, if you didn't report back to say you had the traffic in sight, ATC would have turned you. You know? Visually, it didn't look very separate, which is why I took the action. There you go. Pilot in command is the one who makes that call. And by doing so, you didn't create any further conflict to ATC. He just wanted to know what you were doing. You didn't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? Like you could argue to say that they weren't they weren't a threat, right? There was no way you were going to collide with them, but like, why take that chance? You have 1,000 feet separation. You were looking at him and you said, this guy is going to cross exactly where you are. At what distance? What happened if you had an engine failure and you suddenly lost altitude? Why have the risk? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Play it safe. Play it extra safe. In a sim, yeah, you can probably run an awful lot closer. But if that was me flying in the real world, I'd have done the very same. Very same. You know? In other news, that was a top class approach. It was a lot of fun, wasn't it? It was a lot of fun. You know, like someone could look, you could say there was no risk. That's not the call for ATC. At the end of the day, that's the pilot flying. If the pilot thinks there's a risk, pilot's flying the plane. End of. End of. ATC are not flying the aircraft. The pilot is. ATC, we need them, and we got to do what they say. But in a case like that, the pilot is, you know, the pilot wears the pants. The pilot wears the pants. Yeah, by all means, you can get a phone call later and then further instruction, grand. But in that moment, right there and then, I'd have done the very, very same. You know. So anyway, what we've done our SID. All right. We've done VOR navigation. We flew an airway once again. The Victor 146 was it? Yeah, the Victor 146. And then we flew the Star, which was the WOONS 2, and then we got vectored heading in. Should we have notified ATC before making the move? No. Again, because you're told to maintain your instruction from ATC, maintain visual separation. All right, that's now up to you to keep. But basically, what they're saying is, if you're not quite sure understanding the words, maintain visual separation. Basically, stay the feck back. Do not fly into your man. You're maintaining the distance or the separation. Yeah, that's what you're doing. So ATC, that was the instruction given to the pilot, so the pilot will maintain the visual separation. Simple as. Move first, then at ATC. No, aviate, navigate, communicate. Yeah. Well, you didn't necessarily need to let ATC know. ATC were watching it closely and they were like, hey, say intentions. I was avoiding the other aircraft. All right. No problem. They're not going to give out to you. You know, by all means, they could probably say, listen, there was 1,000 feet separation there. You know, you weren't really in trouble. But as a pilot, as you flying the plane, the buck stops with you completely, you know. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. The next flight we're going to be doing is friggin' nuts altogether because it introduces a whole lot of drama. And we'll just have a quick preview on this. So the next WINGS flight we're going to be doing, lads, we are going to be doing IFR 11. And this is our IFR check ride. It's one of the most challenging flights in the program. It's going to focus on the lesser used but still important IFR techniques, providing a great review of the content we've discussed thus far. It's going to take us from New Bedford Airport over to Plymouth Airport, then onto Portland, as we learn about the airborne IFR clearances, hold entries, and missed approaches. Now, we can see that there's a lot of new stuff being thrown at us, okay? When we take off from an untowered airport, then we're going to be flying into an area. We can request our IFR clearance on the fly, right? So that's grand. That's going to be an airborne IFR clearance. Then we need to figure out how to do a hold. You'll approach, the approach will fly you at Plymouth. As with approaches at other untowered, ATC will not assign this approach. You'll be expected to request it. Part of the challenge for this portion of the flight is filing a flight plan that will allow you to fly this approach. ATC won't provide vectors on this rating. One important note, on the approach chart is the text located just below the Providence VOR. Yeah, Murphy's very, missed approaches. You get a lot of them. The text indicates following the route off the Providence is not authorized if you're arriving at Providence along the airway radials 093 to 165. This is because the turn at Providence will be too sharp for you to safely intercept and establish on the feeder route. In other words, if you plan to fly to Providence via the Victor 139, 167, 146 or 405 airways, well, you're out of luck, because each of those runways is on or between the radials. Flying directly from the Whiskey Bravo to Providence also won't work, as would have you arriving at Providence from the area that is not authorized. You can confirm this by plotting a direct route using your low IFR charts. Okay. Then we have to look at a hold, because we're going to do a missed approach. Then we're going to enter a hold, and we need to stay in the hold. What? This is going to be bananas. And then all is going to be well. Right? So it's going to see us do an awful lot of stuff. Now, there's multiple new things being thrown at us here. Again, our focus is on following the ATC procedure, not necessarily the flying procedure, right? There's an element that we need to learn this. If you haven't a clue about holes or missed approaches, go back into our ground school document, yeah? So, where are we now? IFR ATC. Holding. Go down there to page 121. So this is going to tell you how you're going to be doing your hold. Where to do your hold. Direct entry, teardrop or parallel. They're only showing us 2 here, right? Now, jumping into a hold isn't, you know, it's not, when I say it's not rocket science, effectively what you're doing, you're creating a circuit in the sky that you're going to stick to. All right, so that's what they mean by holding, right? The real challenge to holding is making sure you configure your aircraft to accept a hold. What speed, you know, how many minutes in the circuit and so on, right? All right. So we'll do a little bit of learning over that over the coming days. As I said, the flight on Monday, right? We're going to be trying all of this. There's a lot of flying to be done next Monday. If there's any delay for whatever reason, we can break this down. Like, if you're not ready for this, there's absolutely no worries. We can target some of the other flights prior to this. So let me know over on the course. I mean, if this is kind of moving kind of a little bit too far ahead, well, just let me know. And we can break this down and spread this out over, you know, 2 streams. If you find that easier, right? Because if you look at the other flights, we've done IFR 5. Full approach and untowered airports is the next lesson. Non-precision approaches. Then we have ILS approach without course reversals. Then we have obstacle departure procedure, or ODP. Then you have a back course, and then you jump into your IFR check ride. Now there is its own lesson up here, missed approach and hold. The flight focuses on the recommended hold procedures. Doesn't matter, we're going to be getting our feet wet in this first. IFR 11, that's what we're going to target next. There's a whole lot of other cool stuff on this, right? And again, you know, if the IFR stuff, go back to IFR 1, try all of these, because you learn as you go. And to be fair, like the Boston guys, they've information already on this. Like they've further, like if you want to say, you know, VOR navigation, they have a link here to like, and this is a friggin' awesome video. If you want to know how VOR works, we've covered it before ourselves. You know, we've flown VOR stuff. Where is this now? There was a full lesson on this, I think. Go flying. Here's a full video.
John from FlyMikeAlpha.com, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to use the VOR receiver in your airplane when you're in the airplane. So when you're actually going out.
All right. So like there's loads of further details there. You know, if you want to kind of jump in and get an idea of what's going on, you know. The LDA approach at Hartford will be a fun one. Yeah. Not, you know, I'm away next week, so I won't be able to join. We'll try and get it done the following week. Yeah. Well, look, let me go down to the lesson plan, because there is a fair bit in it, right? So if we find ourselves under a little bit of pressure, we can spread it out over 2 flights. And we're getting very close now to the end of this course, right? Complex IFR skills, airborne IFR clearances, holding patterns. We're going to request and receive an airborne IFR clearance, execute a published holding pattern, perform a full missed approach, managing rerouting, multiple legs and in-flight changes, and then we're going to demonstrate complete control of our IFR communications, navigation, and approach. When this is done, right, we're pretty much clear of our FAA conversion course. The next element of training is when we're focusing on the Oshkosh flight. Yeah, we're going to be doing the virtual Oshkosh stuff, and that's going to be great fun, right? Air adventure. Because I've always wanted to do the I've always wanted to fly the virtual Oshkosh one. Always wanted to do it, do you know? So yeah, we'll wait and see how that's going to go. The third part, as we said, section 1 we've done, section 2 we've done. Then we get on to what we called, what was a phase, no, down here a bit. It was phase 3, wasn't it? Wasn't that what we're going for? Where now? Up here now, UW. What page am I on there now? 151. Down the road now, hey. Down the road. 171. Come on. Come on now. 185. There we go. So far we've done the airspace structures, flight planning, VFR communication, and our practical flying. We've now gone on to the IFR stuff, understanding the IFR flight plans, IFR ATC communications, practical flying. Then we prepare for the EAA virtual fly-in into Oshkosh. So this will be a lot of fun. Familiarization with AirVenture, the NOTAMs, practicing the FISC arrival and other Oshkosh entry procedures. Formation flying and high density traffic operations. I would very much like to do, well, they'll always line you up one by one, but like, wouldn't it be cool to do like a formation flight into Oshkosh, a flight of, 2 or 3, and then a final check ride and prep for the Oshkosh fly-in. So that's kind of coming a little bit later on. When is that? When is the virtual EAA? Isn't it in July? Virtual EAA Oshkosh 2025. Isn't it July, lads? So the actual gig is on 21st to the 27th of July. So the virtual one tends to be the week before, I think. Almost certain. Yeah? Almost certain. But anyway, that's the crack. Yeah, 2 weeks before. Oh, it's 2 weeks before Oshkosh. Okay, sweet. But yeah. Right, lads, that's all for tonight. We're back tomorrow night, 1900 Zulu. We're going to be doing some trucking. And what are we doing then after that? Oh, yeah, Wednesday we have the news. And then Friday we have a group flight. And that's in Ireland as we're flying the Arrows, taking the Arrow out for a spin. Looking forward to it. So if you have any questions or you need any advice or help or whatever, let me know over on Discord. A massive thanks to all the folks involved at the Boston Virtual ARTCC. Tremendous support from the lads there tonight helping us out. Just an awesome crew to fly with. And yeah, really, their ATC is spot on, isn't it? It's bang on the money. And Naughty Gnome, thank you very much indeed for flying with me as well. If anyone else feels up to flying with me on these ATC flights, jump on. If you're stuck, let us know. Let us know. Right, lads, that's the story now. I'm away to lie down, back to work tomorrow. But anyway, thank you all so very, very much indeed for tuning in and for all your support. And we'll see you tomorrow at 1900 Zulu. Take care. Dublin. Pascal Sheehy, RTE. Is Pascal Sheehy still doing the news? Oh, there's Gibbo, look! He almost turned it over. Gibbo, you nearly rolled it.
Yeah, baby.
Did you just say that? He nearly rolled the trailer coming in. Hilarious. Yeah, we can hear you. Do you know? Ah, don't hit me with a frying pan! Oh, jeez! Did you just hear it? You just hit me with a frying pan!
Make a noise!
Of course I made a noise! You hit me with a frying pan in my head!
Turn around!
Why would you hit me with a frying... Don't hit me again! Ah! Yes, it makes a noise! You're hitting me with a frying pan! Annalisa, did you put her up to that? Jesus, me head! Oh, who hit someone?